Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon of the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and with me by phone, we have Noah. How you doing, Noah?
Can't complain. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm going to complain, but that's okay.
Ooh,
We'll get to
fun.
that. We will get to that.
Well, I'll tell you what. As long as you're complaining, I'll complain too.
Okay. Well. Let's. I don't know if we may not complain about the same thing because in all fairness, when we scheduled that you were going to be on for this show, you said that you had a specific cigar that you wanted to smoke today. And, I'll be honest, I've been swamped with all kinds of crap. Didn't place an order online to order it. So I went around, to a couple of shops today to try and find it. And there was one that I was like, I'm pretty sure I have bought other versions of this cigar there before. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to find it. But there was another one I checked first and they didn't have it. But anyway, so we're smoking, for those of you who are curious, we're smoking the Trinidad Espiritu Series number 3. Okay. Now, you're familiar with this.
Yes. Came out last year. They do a different blend, and it's blended along with Rafael Nadal. I want to say he's been with every blend.
From my research, yes, it's him and AJ Fernandez.
Yeah. And you could definitely taste both of them. That sounded gay.
I was gonna say, I'm like, wait a minute. I don't want to be tasting. They're not. They might be nice guys, but I don't really want to be tasting Rafael and AJ, especially at the same time. That's a whole.
What I meant to say is, you can definitely taste their essence. No, still gay.
Influence. Their influence.
Influence.
There you go.
Their influence.
Oh, I gotta bail you out here.
Yeah, this is the best blend of the. It comes out with a blend every year, and this is by far my favorite. I have not tried the one that came out this last year, and I'm pretty sure they debuted it at PCA.
Okay.
And I want to say it's the Miami, but I haven't smoked that one.
Okay.
Of the 3 I've smoked, this number 3, far and away my fucking favorite one, and I've smoked just absolute shit tons last year, continuing over into this year, probably at least 2 boxes, maybe 3 boxes worth.
Okay.
By now, and mostly
this is
singles.
Big time personal favorite for you.
Yeah, I love this cigar. It probably would have been my choice for cigar of the year last year had the 30th not come out.
Yeah.
So that was such a good cigar.
Okay. So makeup wise, it's a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. Now, the reason I haven't shown it yet on camera is because we're going to talk about, this is where I gripe. This is where I gripe for a moment. So I went looking for this cigar, and I found it at a shop. I actually found all 3. I found Series 1, 2, and 3. They had 1 box of each of them. The first box, Series 1, had 1 Robusto left in it. Series 2 had Toros. Series 3, on the other hand, was the Lancero. And I have a 7.5 by 40 box-pressed Lancero. So this is where I'm bitching, because if you've been listening to this show for any length of time, I'm not the biggest box press fan. It's just, I don't know. It's just a personal preference. It is what it is. I'm not the biggest fan. This thing is like practically square. But then on top of it, I'm not the biggest Lancero fan either because, I agree with Dave and the whole, I have hot dog fingers and it makes my fingers look fat. But also, I do have to significantly concentrate on my smoking when I'm smoking a Lancero, because otherwise I'm going to burn through it really quick and have runs, and it's going to be a poor smoking experience. So this is going to be some effort. This is going to be some work here.
Yeah, I totally spaced my mind. All I've ever smoked is the Toro, and I forget that you hate a box press because this is,
I would have
as
been.
I look at it, it's pretty significantly box
I
press.
mean, I would have maybe said something about it, but I probably would have moved on
Mhm.
pretty quickly. But the fact that it's a box press Lancero, that's where I'm just like, really, son of a
Yeah,
bitch. So yeah,
and
yeah,
I don't I generally don't smoke many Lancero just for all the reasons you said. I mean, you basically have to really love the wrapper.
you
So
do,
there's
you do.
and yeah, it takes more work. You got to worry about runs, and but I don't think I've ever smoked a box press Lancero of anything. So
If I have, I
this is
can't
gonna be.
remember it. I mean, it may have happened. I won't lie. There's been
Mhm.
lots of cigars that have come and gone, through my humidor over the years. But yeah, I don't recall one off the top of my head. So if I did, it
So
wasn't super memorable.
I could definitely vouch for the Toro, but that I believe is the only size I've ever smoked. So
Okay,
it's gonna be interesting. You're gonna have to go in with a open mind
I'm going
and
in with as
skinny fingers.
I'm time and effort, my friend. I'm working on it,
Mhm.
but like for right now, it's hot dog fingers. So I guess we'll go ahead and get this thing going. So,
The wrapper is very good, I will say. So
well, I
there's
hope
that.
so because I'm going to have a lot of it. So,
Hmm.
it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. I actually just placed an order with them yesterday. I finally ordered myself some legacies,
Oh,
and
very good.
I ordered two of each of the wrappers on the legacies. I ordered four of the Gold Star because I really like that United Gold
Mm.
Star. I ordered what else did I order? Hang on, I can tell you this because I kept the order for him. So I ordered two of the Rojas Street Taco El Pastor or Al Pastor, which I think
Okay.
is the newer one. And then I
Yeah.
ordered two of the JFR 20th anniversary because, I wanted to give those a shot. Now, those are box pressed as well. I
Mm.
found that out today when I was searching for this Trinidad. And so I'm like, well, okay then. And then here's the wild card. Here's the one. Here's the crazy purchase. I ordered two because I always, if it's a new cigar, I want to have two of them to try.
Yeah.
I ordered
Good
two
strategy.
of the Asylum Split Personality. That is the banana cigar.
Oh,
I
okay.
ordered the
Very
banana.
good.
I ordered the banana cigar. So we can.
You'll have to report. You have to report it to me because
Oh,
I am curious.
I will. I'm thinking that there needs to be an episode where I pair it, like maybe like a smoothie with the banana
Ooh.
cigar, or perhaps
Or
what?
I was gonna say something peanut butter because peanut butter and banana.
Ooh, now
is
there
just
you go.
Good comment.
There you
Yeah.
go. I like that idea. But anyway, please go to twoguyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Ooh, and I cleared the schmuckus earlier when I was in the car. Excellent. It was
Perfect.
as I picked up
Perfecto.
the cutter, I was like, oh God, did I clear the schmuckus when I was in the car earlier? I did. Anyway, so let's give this guy a cut and see what we've got here. So, oh my gosh. All right. It's like I'm a moil here. I'm just taking a little off the tip there. Okay. So, yeah, Asha. It's definitely Mexican San Andreas.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been cold. I've been sucking on this. Fuck God, not gay. God, sorry. I've been cold drawing this for a while, and yeah, you really taste that San Andreas wrapper.
Kind of slightly like, little maybe, I don't know, like mix of earthy and chocolate.
Let's. I'll do my best, Mr. Jonathan impression.
Oh, okay. All right. This ought to be good.
let's say you were carrying a Hershey bar and you accidentally dropped it in the dirt, but you didn't eat it. You just smelled it. And then you went over and took a piece of a different Hershey bar in another field and came back and dropped that in to the one next to it and then took a bite real quick and then spit it back out into the earth and then ate that.
Ah, okay. Okay. I like that. Good mix.
Chocolatey earth is what I'm saying.
Chocolatey earth spit. Okay. I like it.
Mm.
Okay. Well, time to fire this guy up. And while we do, we'll hear the greatest commercial that you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino. Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah.
All right there. I did a retro hail right off the light here. It's not strong like at all. I was expecting something with a bit more punch.
It picks up a little bit, but
Okay.
it picks up a little bit, but it's forgiving.
Okay. Wow. All right. Well, we'll give this a shot. We'll go through this. So Noah, we we're here to you had a story idea topic for the episode, and you wanted to discuss summer cigar pairings. Now, what are you wanting to pair?
Well, generally, as most people, especially in areas that have seasons,
Yeah.
You find yourself out doing the majority of your smoking outside on the deck, and you're generally, at least I am, drinking a variety of beverages, and once the temperature warms up to summer, that, at least for me, tends to kind of skew my drinking. So, in other words, for something as simple as, maybe in the fall or spring, I might be outside with hot coffee.
Okay.
But now, in the summer, I'm doing more iced coffee, cold brew, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then as far as liquors are concerned, I might switch from a bourbon to like a tequila, like a reposado, a lot of seltzer waters, just different things of that matter.
Okay.
So
okay.
You'll see a lot of that if you follow me on Instagram. A lot of, as in the coming weeks, you'll see the liquor change out, and hot coffee switch to cold coffee, and there's just tons of different pairings you can do with that. Now you're a pretty much iced tea year round, right?
I'm a water iced tea pair more than anything. Although I will say, in the summertime, I don't really drink like if I'm sitting and just kind of chilling at home, if it's typically water or iced tea. Every once in a while in the summertime though, I have this it's what it is. I have this like lemon drop whiskey that I got from a local, distiller. And so you do like 2 shots of that in a glass. You hit that with just a little bit of blackberry mint syrup just to give it a little color and a little taste. And then you top it with lemonade. And that is delightful as a like summertime, beverage.
And that's kind of what I'm getting at too. It's very refreshing. You want
Exactly.
something that's refreshing because you're going to be outside in the
Well, yeah.
sun. You want to cool off.
And I'm not a beer person. Beer tends to make me feel very big and bloaty and just kind of uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so I don't really care for beer. Maybe some ciders, but like, you know, even then, I'm not one to just kind of sit and just have a adult drink by myself. Maybe
Well,
socially,
now,
you know, out and about,
okay,
but like not really by myself.
okay. Now I sound like an alcoholic.
No.
But
I'm just saying. It's just not,
uh,
dude. I drank so much.
yeah,
I my college years were, you know, I did enough there that I'm good.
I
I'm
mean,
good
that's
for
fair.
a lifetime. So,
You'll save a lot of money this way.
it's true.
But yeah, like so yeah. With that in mind, you know, I was just thinking if I was smoking, you know. So let's take tequila for instance. Are you probably in your college days? Did you ever do tequila?
So I obviously would do margaritas. I'll still do margaritas.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
you know, drinking tequila straight, you got to get me a really good tequila for me to want to drink it straight. I
Okay.
just, you know, the last thing in the world I want is that kind of tequila burn as it goes down, and then I'm like, whoa, you know, and like it just, I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm not the biggest fan of drinking liquor straight. Period. Like you know, and as I've talked about on the show, like if it's a really high quality liquor, obviously I can tell because it doesn't have that burn. It goes down much smoother. So that's the key. If I'm going to drink liquor straight, I'm gonna be spending the money to make sure that it's a really high quality one, so it goes down nice and smooth.
So I mean, yeah, I mean, it's the only way to do it. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, for tequila, you know, your blancos, your white tequilas, you're generally gonna mix those in like a margarita or something. I mean, you can sip them, especially if it's a real higher quality. But
Yeah.
essentially, a blanco is made for mixing. Now, as you go up the ladder, and you get to some of the more aged stuff, where you go from next stage up is your reposado, and then all the way to añejo. Those are good sipping tequilas, especially if you get a high quality one. And the flavor notes in a reposado really bring out any corojo. I find.
Okay.
So if you have any cigar with a strong corojo taste, that spicy taste, whether it be a wrapper or any even fillers, anything with a corojo really seems to blend very well with the reposado.
Okay.
So you get kind of get that oaky, spicy taste in both, and it really seems to highlight any corojo. A good reposado tequila.
Okay.
It's perfect.
So like an
And
Aladino.
if you perfect, there you
There
go.
you go. Okay.
That sounds like you might have a sponsor on your hands.
I mean, there you go. Now we just got to
Yeah.
get a tequila sponsor. So
Yeah, now, if memory serves for any longtime listeners or yourself, the very first time I was on.
I'm
we
very
drank-
familiar with this episode.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we drank some 1800 Reposado.
Yes. Well,
And
I had a little bit, and
Okay.
somebody else on the show had quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I smoked the CLE Corojo. So
That's right. You did pair it with that.
yeah. So yeah, not to ass kiss, but yeah, the Aroas are the
Yeah.
Corojo Kings. So
Yeah.
any Corojo heavy cigar from them. There's a lot of good ones out in the market. Honestly, even like the revamped Perla del Mar does a really good Corojo.
Okay.
Yeah, just any Corojo heavy cigar just really goes well with any Reposado. So that is one of my favorite summer cigar pairings.
Okay. Okay.
I tend to do that more in the evening because I have a job and all that.
Well, yeah,
I can't be drunk during the day.
I mean, preferably not,
but
but
preferably not. They frown upon that. So if I'm smoking during the day, I love a good cold brew coffee. Now, have you ever done like a cold brew or an ice Americano, anything like that?
I'm not a big fan of cold coffee. Like if I'm going to drink coffee, I'm going to drink it hot.
Yes, I never was either until I was outside smoking, and you get hot in the sun. I was like, I don't want something hot. So then I got introduced to that. kind of changed my world.
Okay.
So if I have any pairing recommendations along those lines, Dunkin' Cold Brew, and you can. It's funny because like over the years, I watched this drink like go up in price like so many different times. I remember when I first started, it was probably like, quite honestly, like almost half the price as it is now. And the large, it's a fucking good amount of coffee you get. And I'm not a coffee expert per se, but I believe something in the brewing process of cold brew brings out the caffeine more. So I think cold coffee, don't quote me on this, but might be more caffeinated than a regular hot coffee. I might have made that up, but or maybe it's just the rate. Yeah, maybe it's just the rate that you're drinking because you tend to drink it faster. Being a straw, being a cold.
That actually could be true. The fact that you're just rifling it down your throat with a straw, that actually could get it going a little quicker.
Yeah, so at least I am. I'm jacked by the end of it. I'm shadow boxing outside. I'm trying to fight the neighbors. But a good pairing for that is any like Maduro, any coffee heavy flavored cigar.
Okay.
One of my go-tos is the La Historia by EP Creo in the Churchill.
Okay.
Just because you get a lot of those, flavor transitions, a lot of that coffee, and a Churchill, and at least in that format, you're going to get about 2 hours out of that.
Yeah.
So, if you get a large coffee, it seems to go, times out pretty well.
I was going to say, it keeps you from slamming that large coffee down too quickly, too. If you're, like, timing it out with the cigar, you can kind of, like, restrain yourself from really giving yourself that nicotine buzz. Or caffeine, not nicotine. You know what I mean.
They go hand in hand, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to be jacked either way.
Okay.
So, as we're talking about nicotine, what do you think? What are you thinking so far?
I'm thinking it's not bad. It's much lighter than I thought it was going to be, given the makeup of the cigar, given the people who made it. It's much lighter than I thought it was going to be. It's not bad. I do have one slight hot spot going like on the burn line, so my burn line's a little crooked, but I also could be smoking it too fast, so. But no, it's good. The ash hangs on really, really well.
Yeah, strong ash. I can't vouch for your particular size, but yeah, it amps up as you progress. But yeah, it's got a lot of complex flavors, and especially for the price point. I don't know what you paid for that size in St. Louis, but this Toro generally runs locally here about $11 for me.
I was gonna say I feel like it was somewhere in the 11 to 12 range. So, yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. And now that I think about it, I told the guy I didn't need a receipt. So,
well,
that was on me.
And it's a little chimney too, which I like.
Well, no, and that is something I'm noticing is as I'm sitting here and I'm holding it, the smoke is wisping and it's in the light of the lamp that I have on the desk, and it is a little smokestack. This thing just keeps on kicking out smoke, even when it's been a minute since I've taken a puff off of it. So that's good. And I'll go ahead, I'll acquiesce that the square box press, while somewhat annoying in the hand, mouthfeel wise, it's really not bad because it's pretty uniform on all sides. So it's about as close to round as a box press is going to get in that regard. So I'm not having a problem with mouthfeel with it.
Yeah. And the number 2, they always do a different blend every year.
Yeah.
And they try to match these. I don't know if you took your band off or not, but
no.
They try to match the band with that particular motif of the cigar. So like if you look at they're pretty elaborate bands, and so this is a Mexican and San Andreas wrapper. So the motif is kind of that Mexican-y look. In the Series 2 I smoked a lot of, that's more that's got a Matafina wrapper, so it's kind of a Brazilian motif for theirs. And I don't think that don't quote me on this, but I don't think they're all box pressed.
No, they're not.
Okay, yeah.
Series 1 and 2, I believe, were both round.
Okay, yeah.
If I'm right.
I've only smoked the one a few times, but
I know that Series 1 was, because see, on the shelf they were first of all in a place that like I couldn't see the tags all that well. So I went ahead and just, grabbed a Lancero because I could see that was a number 3. But then I grabbed the one last Robusto thinking, well, shit, if this is the same thing, I'm just going to buy the Robusto versus the Lancero. And when I did, I took a closer look at it. And that's when I could tell on that secondary band that it said Series 1. And I was like, well, shit, But so, that's when I realized that, yeah, all they had was the Lancero of this one. But yeah, the Robusto was definitely round. And the other one, once I realized that was number 1, I looked and, the Toro was number 2. So, yep.
Yeah, they play around every year with changing pretty much up everything from the wrapper to the filler, the binder to the shape to the label. Everything is quite different every year, so it's always kind of a nice little thing to look forward to. Yeah, and they're pretty. It's Altadas, so they're pretty widely available at a lot of local brick and mortars. Although apparently they're harder to come by than I thought, as you had some issues. But
well, here's the thing, and this is now we can get on a tangent about this for a moment. So, the one shop that I visited that didn't have it, their Altadas section is not the deepest. Like, it's really just like Romeo, Upman, and maybe a couple others, but it's pretty shallow. And then otherwise, a lot of other brands. But the other shop, the one where I found it, used to be one that had, they had a little bit of everything. It was very spread out. They have a very large humidor, and they had a lot of options from both the big guys and the little guys. And this lounge has been purchased. It's under new management. It's been under new management for, I don't know, a handful of years now, a couple of years now. And what I have noticed going in there, because I haven't been in there in a while, and what I noticed when I went in there is that they have gone very heavy, very deep on more boutique brands. They're like double the amount of Drew Estate that they used to carry. So their Drew Estate's freaking huge. But like if you want to find like every Matilde cigar, I know where to send you. If you want to find like all the Crux, I know where to send you. You want to find like Karen Berger, I know where to send you. You want to find like like that Black Star line. There's like all kinds of these like, smaller, brands, whereas there wasn't a single Perdomo. Rocky was shoved in the corner, barely visible.
That's weird.
General and Altadis maybe were one shelf, like total, and super limited facings on that. CLE had an entire shelf just to themselves, no Aladino whatsoever. And I know the reason behind that, and I think that's kind of crappy, but that's neither here nor there. They used to carry West Tampa tobacco. I didn't see those in there this time. I was going to buy some, and I didn't see them. What else? They do have a good amount of Fuente and Newman, but that's because, we have a really, really good rep here in the area, and he's pretty good at, getting stuff going. And what else? What else did I notice in that humidor that was a little... they used to carry United, and I didn't see United. I was thinking about splurging and getting myself, something fancy, and like an Atabay. And hell, this is where I had a Byron for my birthday last November, and they don't carry them anymore. So, the quote-unquote high-end humidor out in the main room by the register, was was fairly empty except for like a handful of boxes of some Padrones and some other ones that and that's the thing. There were a lot of cigars I didn't even recognize. Like that's how small of a brand we're talking about, with some of these purchases. So I don't know what's up with the buying habit of this store. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if maybe the customer base is telling them this is what we want, and they're kind of like skewing towards that. But I'll say that, like, whereas it used to be a place that I knew I could go and find both a combination of mainstream known cigars and then also some boutiques, it's turning into a fairly boutique heavy cigar lounge. And, we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
It sounds like they're leaning really into that boutique element.
Yeah. And
So.
I don't know. I mean, look, I would think that they're doing it based off of some sort of data, because I know the owner, and he's not he's a numbers guy. He's not a guy that would just do something on a whim. But then again, who knows? Maybe.
Well, like they all say, there's only two types of cigars out there, right?
Yeah, ones that sell and ones that
sell
don't.
and ones that don't. Yeah.
So maybe he's got the numbers to back him up. I don't know, But
just offering something else that most people don't. So.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's and here's the other thing. We've got Cigars International coming to town either late this year or beginning of next year. Somewhere, sometimes relatively soon. They're coming to Chesterfield, which realistically, Chesterfield to this shop that I was at that I'm talking about, half an hour. And a lot of the clientele that comes to this shop that I'm talking about lives closer to Chesterfield than they do this shop. And so maybe they're trying to diversify the mix now so that when CI comes to town, they can say, oh, yeah, they've got all the stuff that's like in the catalogs, but, we've got all the stuff that you can't get anywhere else, and all that kind of thing. Maybe. I don't know. It's a potential strategy. We'll see. I'm thinking of that quote from Dodgeball. It's like, we'll see if that pays off for him, Cotton, or whatever. I think that was it, but you know what I mean.
Close enough.
Yeah. It's a bold strategy. So
let's see if that pays off.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the thought is. And to be honest, I didn't see anybody there. The cashier guy, I'd never seen him or met him before in my life, so I wasn't going to be like, hey, tell me about your business model. Like, what are you doing? So I just bought my shit and left, but still.
Or maybe it's something as simple as, hey, the owner, maybe it's kind of like a hobby horse. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to carry shit that I like.
And that could very well be. And the thing is, that's fine. But I don't know if that gets you, like as far as you can go. And, but
like I said, if it was just like a hobby horse, and
Yeah. Well, and look, I've talked about that on the show too. There's only, there's a couple types of owners. There's, businessmen who come in and look at it and decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do to appeal to the customer base that I've got and the ones that I want. And this is what I'm going to do, whether I like it or not. This is the product selection I'm going to bring in and all that because it makes me money. Then there's the guy who treats it as his personal clubhouse. And he stocks it with only cigars he likes. And he's sitting up there every day, chatting with the old boys in the back. And it's his own personal clubhouse. And I know at least a couple of shop owners like that. And, and I don't know. There was one other one that I can't remember now, but.
And there's that other element too, that shop owners that are really swayed by reps too. If they really like a rep, and they'll carry. It seems like that's the issue with your local guy with Drew Estate.
Yeah, now Drew Estate, that they do have minimums for maintaining, like being a like a what is it, a Drew Diplomat Lounge or whatever, and there's minimums for being able to get the Liga Privadas. Like you got to carry so many facings of different Drew product in order to have the Ligas, So for all I know, maybe Drew Estate upped the limits and told them like, hey, if you want to continue getting all these things, you gotta you got to go in deeper. I don't know. I'm not, whatever. Or maybe maybe the clientele has told them, we really like these, get more of these, and they just expand it out. I don't know. But it looked like damn near, I mean, look, if Drew Estate makes more product than I saw at that shop, I don't know it. I mean, this is like damn near everything that I could think of that Drew Estate puts out, but whatever. So,
I haven't had now that you mention it, I haven't had a Liga in a minute. I'm going to have to get me a Liga. I haven't had a Liga provider in a while.
I'm trying to
every now and then I'll get just a craving,
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last one I had. I'll have to go back over my list and look. I don't know if I've had one this year or not, but I feel like
I'm almost certain I haven't this year.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's my.
It's kind of a tangent, huh?
I would say that's my tangent where I was talking about cigar shop purchasing, but whatever. So
you know what? It works out because this is a cigar podcast. So
it kind of does. I mean, dude, we're doing a lot. This is some good cigar information here between pairings.
Don't worry, I got plenty of rants for us to get into.
Oh Lord, okay.
not like Trey Mank style. I think you'll be able to follow. I mean,
okay. We're not
just
talking about
just Google building number 7. That's
you son of a bitch.
I did that, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just gay porn. That's all it is gay porn.
I mean, he did bring it up after he was talking about going out in the woods with Mr. Jonathan.
It was. Do you remember the wrestlers Gold Dust?
Yes.
It was just a lot of like sexual shit with guys dressed up like Gold Dust.
I mean, okay. Well, now we know.
If you're into that, yeah.
Now we know. Whatever. Wrestling will come back into play in the Villiger Entertainment Report. I actually have something to discuss.
Perfect.
On that. Yeah. So.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, but.
All right. So back. Let's go back to
back to pairings. Back to pairings. I mean.
Okay. And if I'm just kind of hijacking this segment.
Well, no,
I mean,
really,
but if you have anything, interject.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that maybe I would add is, every once in a while I will start my day with a cigar and a coffee. And with that, I do tend to like Connecticut with my coffee. But the way I make...
Most people are like that, yeah.
But see, the way I make my coffee, I mean, it's a lot of cream and sugar, So...
Which would make sense. Then.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want something that's stronger than that to go along with a weak sweet coffee
right.
But,
yeah, I mean that's valid.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite, and my flavor pairings tend to so I generally try to go like heavier during the day, lighter at night, just for the pairing purpose, but I find myself liking espresso at night, especially lately.
Okay.
So
you don't like sleep, do you?
Machine. No, that's like the one thing I'm good at.
Okay.
So I can fucking. I'm so good at sleep. I can do it with my eyes closed.
That's where I'm a Viking.
Yeah. You totally fucking stepped on my punchline.
I'm sorry.
I said I'm so good at sleeping. I can do it with my eyes closed.
Oh my god.
No, that's not as funny.
I don't have
it's a dad. It's a dad joke.
I don't have the rim shot prepped up here. The So yeah. Anyway.
So all right. So back to So if I do, so I've been doing a lot of espresso at night with my espresso machine, and so again, any coffee flavored forward cigars.
Is that the thing
which tend to be?
Is that the thing that George Clooney promotes?
Yes.
Okay.
So it would totally change your way of coffee.
I'll be damned.
Tasting.
All right,
I've never had better coffee.
Okay.
Now, here's a tangent for you. I was never a coffee drinker. Like I don't think I had a coffee until like mid-20s.
So what fucking changed your mind?
Yeah.
Anyway, there we go.
So yeah, I was always like, I didn't really do it as a kid, and then I went to Italy on a vacation, right?
Yeah.
And you can't avoid coffee over there.
Okay.
And whether it's like at McDonald's or like on the bus, I mean, it's everywhere, but it tends to be more like espresso. So I got introduced to espresso.
Okay.
Over there. and I was immediately hooked on espresso. So I came back and bought like the most expensive espresso machine I could find at the time, and I was trying to chase that, dragon of, I need espresso to taste like it did in Italy.
Yeah.
Well, that led me to coffee. But long story short, the closest I've ever had to the coffee, the espresso in Italy, was on the Nespresso machine. This particular pod, if anybody's listening, that has one. It's called Lil Cafe.
Okay.
It to me, it just takes me back to Italy every time I have an espresso, and I do that at night. And so a lot of the cigars I have that pair with that are going to be your more coffee flavored, which tend to be more the Maduro variety, but not exclusively. Just any of those cigars where you get those coffee, those cocoa notes, any of the kind of same flavor profile you get in a coffee.
Gotcha. Now, real quick, I'll interject.
Mhm.
So yours was Italy. Mine was Ybor City. It was the cafe.
Similar experience.
It was the Cafe Con Leche at King Corona on 7th Avenue, and I tried one of those, and the lady made it just so perfectly, and it was just so wonderful with my cigar. So I'm sitting there, and it's nighttime, and next thing I know, I've ended up having and ordering 4 of the fucking things, and sitting there drinking those and
Talk
having
about
cigars.
not liking sleep.
No shit, man. I was wired that night. I'm just like, wow, it was like straight up cornholio. But it was a good time. But that's what got me going was the Cafe Con Leche at King Corona and Ybor.
Now, are you a guy?
Yes, I am.
Trying to. Oh, check. Okay. So do you have like a sweet tooth? I should know this by now.
Do I have a fucking sweet tooth?
I mean, you could be big and from not like.
Look.
Fat dude.
Look. Let's put it this way. I hinted at it in the last episode. I now have confirmation. I gotta really cut down on my sugars, if you know what I mean. So
Okay.
I haven't gotten to the full on, but I'm pre full on. So I gotta be cutting back on my sugars a lot. So
you don't want to be. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to be pairing your cigars with metformin.
I don't want to be sitting there tapping my prosthetic foot as I'm having a cigar, So yeah.
Okay, so so that makes sense that you like, if you have a sweet tooth, you like sweeter things. I mean, I met fucking fat vegetarians. So
dude, I'll tell you what, one of the saddest days I've had in a long time was Tuesday, cleaning out my snack cabinet and giving a whole bunch of shit a toss. Cause
this sounds like an intervention episode.
Hey, no, you know what? I did it. I brought it on myself. I did it, and I'm taking care of it. I've been going to the gym regularly, and I mean, I've been eating cleaner this week. And I mean, it's only week 1, so I mean, I don't want to be all patting myself on the back or anything yet. But at the same time, dude, I got rid of some fucking snacks, and let me tell you, it was painful because that shit was not cheap. But at the same time, I want to keep my feet, so I want to go.
RFK
I want to go into the ground with what I came to this earth with.
There you go. RFK Jr. might be doing house visits too. You never know.
Oh shit, yeah.
Random fridge raids.
Well, then if that's the case, I mean, I did keep a few little things only because having dieted before in my past, I do know that when you go completely cold turkey, you're gonna have the craving. And when you have the craving, you got to have something small to satiate it. Otherwise, you're going to go way off the wagon and you're just going to binge. And so I kept a few little things just so that I could have a little nibble now and then when I get that urge. But, I got rid of the bulk of it. So.
Now, as a guy who spent many years making weight, it's the things you want, when you sweat a lot, your body crave sugars. It's fine. So I found all these different tricks to just trick myself without eating, just smelling it or licking it or this is sounding gay again. Just getting tricking your mind into thinking you're eating it, whether it's and then spitting it out or whatever. But there's Yeah, I mean, yeah, the first step is the hardest. Raid that, snack drawer,
Yeah,
you know.
it's gone. I mean, the snack cabinets, it's pretty well gone. So
So
there's-
yeah. To my point, like the way
Yes.
you have your coffee, I think is, I mean, like I'm the opposite. I don't like sweets, and so I like my coffee
Well,
real
thankfully, Coffee Mate
strong.
does make a zero sugar version of my Italian sweet cream creamer. So that's good. I can go down that road now.
So yeah, my coffee is gonna be different than your coffee.
Yes, it's
I'm
gonna
trying
be.
to stay focused.
It's
I'm
going to be
sorry.
very, very different. See, I like doing that. Like when somebody's trying to stay focused, I come in and I'm like, zing, zing, But anyway, no,
You're like Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
yeah, I'm just sitting
Just
there,
I'm trying to focus,
shift,
and then you're just
shifting in my chair, just shifting in my chair. Uh, oh my God. Yeah.
Do you know who the guy across her it was?
It was Newman. It was
Newman,
fucking
yeah.
God. It was the fat
Wayne
guy,
Knight.
Wayne Knight. Yeah, I was
Wayne
gonna say
Knight,
the fat guy
yeah.
from Jurassic Park. Yeah, Wayne Knight.
Mhm.
Yep, that was it.
Mhm.
I was like, I know that answer. Oh shit.
Just because when I eventually send you a "Hey Wayne Knight," you'll know who I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, eventually. I mean, God, don't put that on him. He's
yeah,
really.
well, wouldn't that be fucking weird if he
Yeah,
dies?
no shit. I was gonna say, don't
We're
put
gonna have
that
to
on
do
Wayne
an
Knight.
emergency. We'll have to do an emergency pod.
We are coming up at the midpoint of the year. You and I probably do need to think about doing a midpoint recap of who we've lost and reviewing our predictions for the year so far.
Yeah, we had some, and then there's some random ones too that like I did not see that coming.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, there's been a few, and there's a few that are teetering on the edge now, man.
Dude, like, Frankie Valli's still alive, and my buddy
and fucking
just got tickets for a Frankie Valli concert. Oh, I would love to go to that.
And meanwhile, Billy Joel's canceling shit because his brain's like shutting down or something. So I mean, what are you gonna do? But yeah, shit. Anyway, all right, coffee. Yes,
all right.
I take my coffee much different than you take your coffee.
Yes. So your flavor profiles you're gonna match is gonna change that. So
now I will drink black coffee if I have to. I don't prefer it that way, but I will do it if, like, for whatever reason I have to. I can't think of a reason why you'd have to, but, I will do it if I have to.
If you were out of creamer, for instance.
Yes, that would be a good reason to have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, keeping the coffee thing going, another one in the summer, I had alluded to it earlier. It's kind of similar to a cold brew, but it's an iced Americano. So in the summer, if I'm at Starbucks or whatever, I'll generally do a hot Americano.
Going to Starbucks?
In the summer,
gonna pick yourself up a pink drink?
I'm fancy, okay. But it doesn't have to be Starbucks. Any of the
Don't lie.
If you're in Canada. If you're in Canada, you could go to Tim Hortons. I guess.
Don't lie. You collect their tumblers, don't you?
Yeah, my fucking wife does. 4 shelves of that shit.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Yes, Tim Hortons. Get the Timbits.
Shout out to Luke.
Yes. Yeah. Get the
Tim Hortons.
Timbits.
But yeah, an iced Americano. So that's like an espresso-based drink.
Okay.
So do an iced, kind of similar concept as the cold brew you're out there. And if you have any cigar that you get espresso notes in, goes really well with an iced Americano. One that comes to mind, particularly that I try to smoke a lot, is the 1935 Nicaragua by
the
Monte Cristo.
Monte Cristo. Yeah.
That cigar goes great with nice Americano or any espresso drink. You get kind of those espresso notes.
And that's a good cigar just in general. So yeah,
it is a great cigar.
So that's a good
and
pairing.
even aging room Quattro and Sonata, those gotta get the similar espresso notes.
I haven't tried the new one, the Maestro.
Oh, I haven't even seen that. To be honest,
I haven't either, but it's got the blue band or whatever on it. I
would definitely buy some when I see them.
I saw it on the Two Guys website, and I was already buying enough stuff that I hit the $200 worth of free shipping because I couldn't wait for the next show pack to get that stuff in. So I went ahead and just did that. But
not to get ahead of ourselves because we have a lot of shit to talk about.
We do.
But you could be you'll like the Legacy. I can vouch for that.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so another pairing I like to do a lot in the summer is seltzer waters. I'm not sure if you are a seltzer guy or not.
I did the bubbles. I'm not the biggest fan of the fizzy bubbles.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just take the
I
straight,
just
the still water. You know.
yeah, I feel fancy when I drink it. So it's one of those things that I drink, not just with cigars. I drink year round.
I mean, it's supposed to be
throughout the
good for
day.
cleansing the palate.
That,
you know.
I was gonna say that it does go good with cigars for the cleansing of the palate.
Yeah.
And the flavors are very subtle.
Okay.
So it's not over.
Oh, so
can
you're
really
drinking
pair it
flavored
with
ones.
anything. Well, okay. So I'm doing flavored ones, and that will go well with basically any cigar, just because the flavors are so, nuanced and mundane.
Yeah.
But if I want something to drink, but I really want to focus on a cigar, it's usually my, your more luxurious stuff, your $20-$30 cigars, where I just really want to focus on the cigar but want something to drink.
Yeah.
I will go to a fancier water plain, like a Pellegrino, for instance.
Okay.
You ever had
okay.
that?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or even like a Topo Chico, any like mineral water.
Topo Chico.
Yeah. So anything that's like gonna hydrate you, but you're not gonna take away any flavor of the cigar.
Gotcha.
A great pairing I've done not many times, but a few enough times that vouch for it is that 30th anniversary Perdomo with the Pellegrino.
Okay.
Fantastic cigar. So yeah.
See, I just have my Nestle Pure Life.
I mean, it's the same concept, just not as cool.
No. I don't even know if I don't even know if it's the same concept, but we'll just
I'm trying to do an analogy, like let's say you had like a really cheap. Basically, all my references is the shit I can talk about. So, like, let's say you had a really expensive snake.
Oh.
You don't want to put it in like a shitty enclosure, right?
Well,
or
no,
vice versa.
no.
You don't want like this nice enclosure for a shitty snake. So you're drinking it. You're smoking a nicer cigar. You're gonna want a nicer water. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
What constitutes
All right,
a shitty snake, though?
Well, just like a common cheap snake.
Oh, okay.
Run of the mill stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
And unless you have anything to interject, to round out the segment, I like to, I'll still like to drink bourbon, just because bourbon goes well with so many cigars.
Yeah.
In particular, one of my favorite pairings on this planet, the champagne, the Perdomo champagne with that bourbon barrel age, just fucking, it's harmony.
Yeah.
A great communion of flavors, just the bourbon barrel aged Connecticut, and any really Connecticut's, but you want a stronger Connecticut, right, with your bourbon.
Okay.
Because to not like drain it out. But in the summer, I'll usually go to a lighter proof bourbon. So instead of like Wild Turkey 101, which I love a lot, maybe I'll go down and just get like a Buffalo Trace. It's a lower proof. It's not as heavy. And it doesn't overpower as much cigars too. Now, Perdomo champagne is with all that flavor, is gonna hold up to a higher proof 101, just because it's such a good strong cigar. But a lighter Connecticut, if you're having a higher proof bourbon, it's gonna kind of drown out a lot of those flavors.
Okay.
Now, me personally, I don't smoke very many Connecticut's that aren't Perdomo champagne.
Yeah.
There's maybe just a handful of them. But if I am to a lighter proof bourbon, a 90-year proof bourbon it's gonna highlight that better, not overpower it as much. And in the summer, lighter seems to be better.
Okay.
So, anyways, that is my summer cigar pairings.
All right.
If any listeners want to try any of these pairings, and post it in the parishioners group, see what you think. I mean, I can vouch for all the ones I said.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, guys, post your pairings in the parishioner group, or
if you guys have any, of your summer cigar pairings that you like to do, I'd be interested in seeing try something new,
Exactly. Post it or call the hotline, area code
There you go.
863-874-0000, and let us know what your pairings are. So,
And I think there's probably a fair amount of people that don't really give a shit about what they drink with. Like you seem
Yeah.
to not really. You're pretty iced tea.
yeah,
year
it's.
round,
I mean, and to
coffee.
be honest, and drink unsweet iced tea, so it's not like. I mean, it's very basic, So, yeah. It's
Can you
one of those
imagine
things.
how fucked up you would be if you drank sweet tea?
Oh.
You probably add like 20 pounds. You
No
for sure
shit,
had
man. I mean, like McDonald's large sweet tea, like
Yeah.
a large sweet tea there has more sugar in it than 2 Snickers bars. Like, have you
Yeah,
ever seen them
that-
pour the sugar
that's-
into the thing when they're making this? It's
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny you say that because I literally had a sweet tea from McDonald's.
Well, there you go. You had your 2 Snicker bars for the day right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very sweet, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah. No, when they accidentally give me a sweet tea in the drive-through, and I pull away and take that first sip, I mean, it's the most horrific experience because I'm expecting the kind of muted, kind of flavors of the unsweet black tea, and then all of a sudden, bam, sugar, and it's just like holy shit. It's really, really off-putting. So I don't know, but
All right. Well, before I get to the real reason
oh boy.
why I want to address.
Oh boy.
It's not bad.
I don't know. I'm wondering.
Well, I just wanted a platform. I found these 2 news articles recently, and I found them very interesting, and I wanted a platform to discuss them on. And the only people I've been able to talk about it is my 10-year-old son, and he can't give me shit. And my snakes, they don't fucking talk back. So I want,
Okay.
so I want some feedback because I found both of these very interesting.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's focus on the cigar here. What do you think?
I am currently taking off the first of the 2 bands, and not because I'm right up to it, but because I'm getting closer to it. This Lancero is smoking much more rapidly than I anticipated. Maybe it's because you were doing more talking than I was, and whatnot. But no, I'm digging it. It on the smoking experience, it presents itself much lighter, and I don't want to say mild, but much lighter than you would expect. I have done a few other retrohales since the beginning one, and the strength on those have definitely picked up. That pepper component is definitely creeping into the retrohale. But no, I mean it's a very good cigar. I mean I've kind of, like I said, I had the pepper component to the retrohale. That chocolate component is still kind of there, and it's kind of leathery. I don't want to say it. The earthiness.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
The earthiness was more on the cold draw. It's definitely more and first third. Yeah, but
I would agree. I would agree. The earth kind of goes in the background and the leather kind of comes out.
Yeah. So
that's good. Good
but,
call.
yep. But no, it's not a bad. It's a good cigar.
And if you ever happen to see one locally in normal Toro size, I would recommend.
Well, see, that's the thing. I was just about to say I would love to smoke this in a Toro, where I actually felt like, because here's the thing, like I'm puffing on it, and for those of you watching on YouTube or Rumble, you're seeing it's producing a shit ton of smoke, but I'm not giving it the full amount of puff that I would normally on a cigar, if that makes sense. It's like normally I'd take a few puffs or drags off it, and this, it's just like I do one, and then I'm like, okay, I got to stop now because I don't want to create a run or something like that. So I'm holding back my smoking, is what I'm saying. Sure. And so it's like I would like to try it in the Toro size.
Now for me, like Lanceros, we had talked about earlier, it's like I've never been a pipe. My dad was a big pipe smoker growing up. I like the smell of them.
Yeah.
But I always felt that pipes were too much work.
Same. Exact same.
That's kind of how I feel about Lanceros. Like you really have to focus and slow down. So it's like, if you have time and focus, Lanceros, especially with a really good wrapper, are a good option.
Yeah.
But you really got to watch your burn rate. you to slow rate and really focus, because that if you don't pay attention, that will run on you.
Well, and I've had to hit it
But-
with a little flame maybe once or twice just because I was holding off and I didn't puff on it, and then it kind of like it started to go weaker on me, so I needed to kick the flame level back up, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, to talk about the Toro, those flavor notes, I would agree with all that, and zero touch up, a smooth burn line, like a chimney, good flavor profile. It does pick up at about a little more than halfway, and it definitely picks up the spice, especially through the nose.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does present overall milder than you'd think. If we're gonna do the strength scale, oh gosh,
Whoa.
I'm probably at a 6.432.
You're putting this at
somewhere
a
in there.
6?
6.432. Yeah.
I
What you got?
mean, oh, dude, I was looking like, to be honest, you know, I guess if you take the retro hail into account, 4.5 maybe.
Wow. So we're not. We
We're
can't
not.
put this
We're
on the
we
scale.
no.
Yeah,
We are
yeah.
not close on the strengthometer at
Yeah.
all here. Like like I am.
I would
way
go
lower than
6.
you
I don't. Do you have one
a strengthometer.
handy? Yeah, like you
Not
could-
not.
or is it
Oh
too much
wait,
work?
wait. Maybe
Because we might actually be able to test this out in real time here.
hang on. I might.
Because there's one particular cigar that I'm thinking of
Yeah.
that strength-wise this seems identical to, and I just don't remember where that
Where
is.
it? On my phone.
Okay, I'm gonna say the cigar right now. Okay.
Okay.
To me, strength-wise, this is the exact same strength, not flavor or anything else, just strength of body, as a El Baton.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't remember exactly where the El Baton is.
I don't either. And I'm looking. I used to have it saved on my phone, and now all of a sudden I'm like looking, and I can't find the file, and I know I had it. Let me check the iCloud drive. Maybe it's in that. This is riveting radio. Everybody's like sitting there.
I was gonna say that this is what happens when you do it live.
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
saying,
this is
when
when you do the Bill Riley route.
Yeah, fuck it. We'll do it live. Yeah.
Sick of this shit.
Damn it. I don't know, man. Strengthometer. I'm looking on my desktop, and we'll check the downloads. Maybe it's in there.
I gotta put you on the spot here. This
Oh,
is my
God.
bad.
Okay. Oh, you're saying you got to put me on the spot and do this. Yeah,
I say I put you on the spot with the strengthometer.
Okay, let's try this now. Cigar. Let's Google strengthometer. Let's see if I can get it right off their website. Maybe they have it directly on their website. I think I had to Oh, they do. Perfect. Okay. All right. Okay. So you're saying the El Baton. All right.
Mhm.
So no, I already get your newsletter. They have that at a 5. El Baton is at a 5.
El Baton's at a 5. Okay.
So,
Well, then I
okay.
give this a 5.
So if you're saying a 5, but see, I think it's less than, because dude. So at a 5, you have the West Tampa Red, El Baton, Nestor Miranda Special
Yeah.
Selection, Bandolero,
Yeah.
McAuliffe Medallia, Te Amo, Charter Oak Maduro, Garofalo Maduro, Big Sky Madison, Oliva Maduro, and the Topper 1984. At a 4, you have Atabey, Sobremesa Brulee, Avo Maduro, Aladino Classic, Jose Dominguez, Charter Oak, and United Connecticut.
Okay. And not to ass kiss anybody
Yeah.
out there that might have came up with this, that listens to the pod.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is real principle in action, because I had to put this at a 6, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, once you pulled it up, I was like, no, this is the same as an El Baton. So now I'm at a 5. Whereas without those references, I would have went higher.
See, I'm still putting it at a 4.
Which-
I would put it in there with the Aladino
Okay.
Classic.
Okay, yeah, I agree that it's definitely right there with the El Baton, right there with the West Tampa Red.
Yeah.
for me.
I can't go
Okay.
higher than a
Oh.
4. I gotta
Okay.
stick to
Well,
a 4.
this in principle, I think, is what Dave had in mind. Like,
Well,
you say a certain number. Oh, it's higher. Well, it's compared to these, and
we did it.
let's say you're at a lounge or whatever, and
Yeah, no, we did it. We used it.
Because I would have went higher initially.
Yeah.
But compared to the other ones, like
no, it that's the thing in theory, and I know everybody has. I think a lot of people are having fun at Dave's expense with the 0.5 and everything like that. I don't know. I mean, look, do I think it's as strong as some of those? It's not the same. It's a little stronger than an Atabey. So to say that it's the same level as an Atabey, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's not, in my opinion, on the same level as some of those 5s. And so, if I got to put it with the 4s, then I got to put it with the 4s. But yeah,
okay.
So
I'm curious what other people that have had this would put this at. I'm at a solid 5. Based on the listings of I think it's right there with the West Ham, right there with the Albaton.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anyways, all right.
Anyway, all right. So
okay. All right, here we go.
You had news articles.
So I have 2 news articles that I found just really fascinating, interesting. I wanted to talk to somebody, a live human being, about it.
I am a live human being.
You are that.
Yes.
So I got 2 for you. We're going to talk about both of them.
Oh boy.
But you get to pick which one goes first. All right?
Okay.
So I got a Connie Francis one, and I got a Tinder one.
Let's start with the Connie
Which one do you want to hear
Francis
first?
one.
Okay, so okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So Connie Francis, are you familiar?
No.
Oh, and that was one of the most surprising I thought everybody knew who fucking Connie Francis was.
No.
And the few people, my son didn't. He's 10.
Well, yeah.
But I think Connie Francis is. I think you know her, you just don't know her. So in other words, let's say she died. Heaven forbid.
I'd have to Google.
And
I'm Googling now.
And you'd be like, oh, okay, I know who it is now.
I'm Googling now. So
I'll be your Google. I'll be your
Okay.
Google. Okay. All right. So Connie Francis, very famous crooner in the 60s. Okay. And she's saying such famous songs as "Stupid Cupid." I'm not gonna get to sing them, but
yeah,
"Stupid Cupid." Lipstick on your collar. Who's sorry now?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Real popular.
Yeah.
Kind of a side note. She was raped, horrifically raped.
Dear God.
And that was,
what is this a fucking
Francis.
Pinky fun fact here? All of a sudden, it's like
it could be.
I've still got to record those with her, but you're coming along like we're talking about Connie Francis. Fun fact: she was horribly.
It was a big news story. It was a big news story. I didn't do it. I'm just saying. It was a big news story in the 60s.
Okay.
And this is either right before or right after she did the song called "Where the Boys Are."
Oh God!
And if you listen to the lyrics, it's really kind of like something along like "Where the boys are." They're talking about them hiding around the corner and stuff.
Oh,
but anyway,
ironic. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's creepy. But anyway, Connie Francis, very, very popular singer in the 60s, and she had all these famous hits that you know.
Okay.
Well, she has regained like a second wind of fame here, because there's a song she did, and it was never, when it came out, it was never a hit. It was like on the B side of one of her bigger albums. Let's say this is probably not it, but let's just say the B side of "Stupid Cupid" or something, right?
Okay.
And it never caught traction. It wasn't that popular a song.
It was just the extra track.
Yeah. On TikTok, people are listening to the song for like the first time, and they're recording different videos of it, and it's got like over like 2 or 3 million videos of these people dancing with their babies, dancing with their puppies, and the line is that they're dancing to is called. Of course, I can't think of it now.
I was gonna say, you bring this up.
Pretty little baby, I'm so in love with you.
Okay.
Nothing. Okay.
No.
So that's like the tagline.
I'm not a TikTok guy, so yeah. So okay, but
well,
anyway.
I'm not either.
Okay.
But the song gets like a revival based on this song people are discovering, and it pairs so well with these different dances, with your baby, with your cat, your dog that you treat like a baby, baby, little baby, I'm so in love with you. And so this vinyl that she released with this on is like quadrupled in price now, because people want this, original vinyl. And more importantly, my favorite part of the story is they asked Connie Francis what she thought about this new fame, being on TikTok and all, but and she's 88 years old now.
Okay.
And her response was, "What is TikTok?" She never heard
yes.
of TikTok. And so they explained it to her, and like the next day, she comes out with a TikTok, and her bio is the creator of Pretty Little Baby.
Okay.
So it was just kind of like a really, I thought it was really interesting and kind of cute little feel good story.
That is kind of nice. I mean, it just goes to show that
she's been not in the public eye for 30, 40 years now, and all of a sudden she's famous once again, and these people are all discovering her stuff for the first time.
That is kind of nice. Just everyone, see, that's the thing. And this is, I bitch about social media, but every once in a while, something good happens with it. And, because I'm sure she's probably made some money if this is available on Apple iTunes or something like that, to where people are downloading the song. I mean, sure, she may have made some money off of this little resurgence too. And that's not a bad thing for a woman, in her age. I mean, I don't know. And now I think the greater discussion that comes from something like this is what song is going to resurge, 50 years from now that came out now. And therein
I'm going to say Pussy Control by Prince.
Well, but see, that didn't come out now. That came out, whenever. See, that's what I'm saying.
I just wanted to reference that song.
I get it. I'm good. I mean, if you wanted a more contemporary one, you could have gone with the WAP, But my point, though, is music today sucks. And I'm old, and I'm sounding really old saying that. But music today sucks.
I think that was kind of the point of my thing. It was just it was refreshing to have back when songs meant something, and okay, you're relevant again. And I was actually surprised because I talked to a couple people, but they never heard of Connie Francis either. It's just one of those things I just assumed everybody knew. And so
I'm telling you,
it doesn't qualify for a Blackbird story, but it does have that feel good.
I like it. I like
nature
it.
to it.
No, I think ultimately 50 years from now, I think people are still going to be rocking out to shit from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and all that.
It's timeless,
It's
man.
going to be that period, man. I think shit really just clicked at that time. And we need to start getting back to some of that. And now, granted, there could be plenty of good music out there that we just don't know because the promotional pathways for musicians has splintered and broken up so dramatically. I mean, it used to be you got a record contract, the record company put you out, they promoted the hell out of you, everybody knew who you were. Now, with the advent of the internet and social media and everything else, there are so many different ways to build an audience. But the problem is, I don't think nobody's building the kind of audiences like they used to build back in the day. With maybe very few exception. Taylor Swift, love her or hate her, she's definitely somebody that I think has transcended and become somebody that, people will look back at this period of music and say, okay, that was a megastar. Beyonce, but whatever. I mean, Lord knows what's going to come out of the Diddy trial or where we might find out why that was. But you get my point. It's it's not the same.
So again, just to reference shit I know, in my little window. So boxing is so popular over in England.
Okay.
Because they don't have a lot of the others. I mean, they have soccer and darts and shit like that, but they don't have a lot of the stuff we have in America that takes away we have baseball, we have football, we have hockey, basketball, all these things that you're fighting for all these different viewership, all these eyes, because there's only so many hours in a day, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying about, there wasn't all these different avenues back in the 60s and stuff. And, you actually had to have talent to be on TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was no Jake Paul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank God for that.
So,
but yeah.
But yeah, so you had that talent. And because you had talent, you're going to be timeless. And this sounds kind of like Trey-Macky, but like the 60s almost don't seem real in the sense that they were almost like, if you look at these people in the 60s, they were almost like created in a lab, like fucking Elvis Presley, Sinatra, Muhammad Ali, Kennedy, these are like the biggest superstars like ever, and not just because they were so famous, but like just if you were to like build somebody, just
it's the molds that it's the mold, the molds that we have looked towards since then.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, who are you comparing yourself to? You're comparing yourself to Ali or Elvis, like you said. It's like these, when you like think of it, those are the guys.
Because like think of like a Muhammad Ali, or think of like an Elvis Presley today with all the like social media and stuff. How famous they would have been. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their personality is just so engaging and so charismatic.
Yeah.
That
I don't know. It'd be and I think what it ultimately comes down to is they did shit different. They approached something that was already there, and they did it so differently and so uniquely that they stood out. But they were good at what they did too, and that helped. Whereas today, everybody's so fucking cookie cutter and
exactly.
Market tested, and I don't know. It's like it's kind of
and not to get political, and it's in this day and age, it's hard not to, and people have such diverse opinions, but like, love him or hate him, Trump is that same thing. Like, he's not like the mole at all. He's he everything you think about, he's thrown out he does things so off the book and that we've never seen done before. You know what I mean?
I won't disagree with that.
Yeah,
I won't disagree with that.
I love him, but like, that the same qualities I love about him might turn somebody off because, they hate that type of, alpha male, outspoken, doesn't go do what you want him to, in the mold. He's not, that typical presidential, say this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, it's just like you said, it's a different world, man. It's just, it's a different world. And part of me says, I love the fact that like through the advent of social media and the internet and everything, anybody could be a star to some degree. You can make your own way. But on the flip side, I think the definition of what a star is has also changed. And I think, to be honest, star, quote unquote, I think it's less than what it used to be. I don't think it's the same.
Like, look when we were kids, you had to have talent to be on TV, right?
Yeah.
Now with like reality TV and stuff, I mean, Christ Almighty, you've been on TV. Not that you're talented, but yeah.
I talked about pizza.
Like,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so that in itself is kind of like, now how do you say somebody's a star? Have they been on TV or no? Or you?
I wouldn't say that.
Amount of followers.
Let's put it this way. I'm not putting a sizzle reel together with my Man versus Food appearance, or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, you might want to try it on these online dating things.
I will say, it is. Hang on, that's a good segue. I was just about to say, it is pretty cool that I can bring up HBO Max, and there I am. But that is impressive. But anyway, okay. So the next article that you were so greatly segueing to, and I just kind of butchered. But anyway,
at least you acknowledged.
It was a good segue.
So, I luckily, and this is a whole topic for another day, but I missed that whole online dating thing. Thank God.
Yeah.
And that's a whole route to go on. Like, just the whole, like, call me old school, but like I would never think to do that. Like, just like what happened. I know your situation is different, but like for me, I'm old school. If I'm gonna meet a girl, I want to lie to her face, not over line. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
You know,
Well, dude,
like
here's
I'm
the
gonna meet you at the bar, and
ultimately at the
say
end
I'm
of
a
the day,
fucking
what it comes down to for me is I could go somewhere and I could meet somebody, but all I know about them at that moment is I think that person is attractive. I don't know their name.
yeah.
I don't know I don't know if they're even single. I don't know shit about them.
Mhm.
For all I know, they've got
Yeah.
8 kids at home and they're addicted to meth or something. I mean, I have no clue.
Well, that's why you fucking talk to them at the bar and get a feel
Yeah,
for
but
that.
see, that's
And
that,
then
yeah.
here's a pro tip. You don't use your real name in case it goes south, and you give them an STD, and the next day they look at a bar and they look at a bar for this guy Jimmy.
Well, first of
If
all,
you have a different name.
I am clean and I have been clean and I'm whatever.
Okay,
But
no, I'm just saying.
yeah. But my second thing is, how do you then transition to your proper name if things do go well?
That's a topic for another day.
Well, okay, I was gonna say, I'm
Anyway.
like, I don't want to be like 16 years in a relationship and all of a sudden, by the way, my name is not Steve.
And also I'm not a pilot. I just
I'm
made
not
that
a
up.
pilot.
Like,
I know I disappear for weeks at a time. I swear, I'm not flying though. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a millionaire like I claim to be.
Yeah.
But
I order all those T-shirts from those cities online and have them shipped to a PO box so I can give them to you when I get back.
exactly. Anyway, so,
okay.
okay. So, even having not done the online dating thing, I still found this article really interesting. Okay. So, Tinder has a new platform, or it's the same platform, but it's paid levels now. Okay.
Okay.
So you can let's just call it you're on Tinder Premium or whatever that means.
Yeah, they have their paid levels, that's for sure. By the way,
okay.
I am down to the absolute burn my
Oh.
fingertips nub of this Lancero.
Okay.
So I'm just giving my final thought on it before I fire up another cigar here. But this was good. I took this thing way down to the little bit, and I can't go any further because, like I said, I'm going to burn my fingertips. But no, good call. I like it.
I'm on the final third here, and to go back to the show topic at hand. I have smoked this cigar many times with cold coffee. I smoked it with espresso. It's just a great all around cigar. I would, like I said, if you ever see it in the Toro,
I will
recommend.
definitely give it a shot. And I've paired mine with iced tea from, ironically, you mentioned earlier, Dunkin'. So they make a good iced tea. Anyway, okay, so back to the Tinder article.
All right. So they have different levels, and one of these higher paid levels, they're offering this new filter thing. So in other words, like, you'll have to maybe fill in the blanks here a little bit, but you can't even, with these filters, you can put in these. You're this woman, let's say, and you're wanting to meet a guy, and you can put in these different filters where they can't even see your thing unless you meet these different criteria, right?
Yes, they have that for the guys too.
Okay, so this newest one that they came out and what this news article was kind of about is what's called a height filter. So women are utilizing this height filter.
Okay.
And so they'll put in, I want if you're fucking over anybody under 6 feet, don't even fucking try, right?
Yeah.
Which I totally get as a woman, especially if you're like a taller-ish woman and you want to wear heels.
Yeah, you don't want to be dwarfing your man. Yeah.
Yeah, and not even to get too deep in the woods about it, but like, to any of our short listeners out there, I mean, you're at a disadvantage. That's all I can say.
It is kind of sad.
What I found interesting was that, and this is going to be really interesting to anybody listening, I think. Okay, so of American men in 2025, Nick Miller, without doing any research,
oh boy,
what percentage of men do you think are over 6 feet tall in America 2025?
Percentage of men over 6 feet tall in America in 2025.
Yes.
I'd say a lot of them on Tinder say that they're 6 feet or more.
That's my next point. But statistically,
if
if you're strictly by the numbers,
45
percentage of men,
45%.
Okay, that's about what I had thought too, right?
Okay,
ready for this?
Not be. Oh God, yeah,
14%.
Wow,
14%.
Okay,
right, 14%. Now, to the point you alluded to earlier, men
we lie.
That call themselves,
they lie. Yeah,
that call themselves 6 feet or over, 33%.
But here's the thing, and I've talked with women about this. You might say you're 6 foot, but the minute you show up to that date, the women know how high or tall they are. And if you're coming in shorter than what you said, they know immediately that you lied. See, I'm 5'11", and I don't lie about that. I'm 5'11". Okay. It is what it is. And, I'm not going to say that I'm 6 foot. I'm not going to give myself the extra inch. I'm 5'11",
And not to generalize or women, especially ones that are of our age group or even younger, have thought about their marriage photos, have thought about them with heels, and so they know exactly, like you said, this guy's not 6 feet, all right?
Yeah.
So basically, 33% of y'all are probably 5'9", 5'10", 5'11", calling yourself 6 feet. Me, as 6'1", proudly. I am in that 14%. Okay.
You need a T-shirt that says "I am part of the 14%."
Okay. Right. So now we got 14%.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Now, okay. We want to let's take this. So we already got our filter out. So you made it past that barrier.
Okay.
Now, if we want to add some more filters, let's say, you got to be between 35 and 45 years old.
Yeah.
Own your own home.
Wait, that's a thing to put, because they don't ask you that on Tinder.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
These are personal.
The height filter. The height filter is real, is legit.
Okay.
As a feature, but let's say we take that 14% and we want to whittle it down any more to where I want 35 to 45, which probably is a thing, right? You can put that on.
You can definitely put age range.
Age, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say no kids. Okay.
You can do that.
And we want a college education.
Yeah, I think there's an education filter, maybe. I don't know.
Own your own home.
That you got to find out on your own. Yeah.
Yeah, and make $60,000 or more a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what that percentage now? Do you know what that percentage now becomes?
Like 2?
Yeah, like 4%. I think it was like 3.5%.
Really? Well, and see, therein lies the problem, and I don't want to generalize.
That's basically what this article. Yeah, so that's basically what this article is focusing on. Is these women are saying, and again, I'm just quoting an article. I'm not I don't necessarily the views and opinions don't. But basically, what they're saying is these women are saying there's no good men out there, and they're literally fishing in a 3.5% pond. Okay?
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, this 3.5% pond are just based on those criteria. Said that has nothing to do with looks, that has nothing to do with personality, that has nothing to do with compatibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that also means that if you're in that 3.5%, you've kind of got your pick of the litter to some degree.
In theory. Now, not to sound like a douchebag.
Yeah.
Not to sound like a douchebag, but I meet like half of these criteria. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm probably of the four. I'm probably at like a 10%, right? I'm like a 10% of Americans. But yeah, So the article is basically about women are kind of just focusing and setting themselves up for failure, right? And honestly, you do you, if that's what you want, there's something to be said about holding out for the right man or whatever, but it's just, you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment in a small pond. And again, that has nothing to do with compatibility and all these other things. Now, I was thinking, to kind of flip that around. Now, would men filters, unless you're a dramatically short or dramatically tall, I don't necessarily think men care all that much about height.
No, probably not.
At least in my experience. Like me personally, I would never date anybody taller, but I'm a taller guy, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've dated somebody that's taller than me before. You know,
okay.
I've dated
now,
people that are significantly shorter than me. Not significant, not like to the point where like we're going down to Pigeon Forge to try out for midget wrestling or anything. Although I will say,
how tall?
What?
How tall? You met my wife. How tall do you think she is?
4'5".
Well, you think my wife is 4'5"?
Oh no! I'm sorry. She's like 5 foot.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like
sorry,
right 5
I wasn't thinking. I was thinking of something else.
5'4".
No.
Okay, because that would be a midget, I think.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Anything 4'11" or under technically is considered a midget, I believe. But she's like 5 foot.
Which is a little creepy to me. Yeah, right around 5 foot.
Okay,
so
like, she's right on the edge, but yeah,
yeah. Height has never really been a factor.
I like your wife, so I don't mean to pick on her.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Height has never really been a factor to me. Now, if we want to get really controversial, let's say the height.
I did see a girl on Tinder. It was a little while. Maybe in the last, I don't know, month and a half. 3'10".
Ooh, that's a bold move.
It was legit, and let me tell you, like, I mean, she was verified. She had the little blue check mark, and you know, Trey Mac was telling me that I needed to do that just so that I could try to, like, you know, say I did. And I'm just like, I'm not the kind of guy that needs to check that box, but you know, yeah.
Not to lose any viewers or whatever.
Oh Lord,
or subscribers you have, but I think if you're dating somebody, and this is just my opinion, if you're dating somebody that short, I think you're putting your foot in the water, a toe in the water of pedophilia a little bit.
See,
like,
okay, all right. You
how much can I legally get away with?
So okay, so it's funny you say that because like I did bring that thought up to Trey Mac, and he did convince me otherwise. In that, I feel like pedophilia is not a height-based thing. It is completely and totally. There is a mental fuckitude that we cannot quantify because I don't have it, thank God, and I find it to be disgusting.
As long as we're talking about filters, let's say you had a filter of under 4 foot and fucking retarded. Would that be like a child?
Oh, Jesus Christ! I mean, what was the gumping? Anyway, all right, we're gonna leave it. God, we are getting all up into some offensive weeds.
Your flags. I can listen to your subscribers and sponsors.
They're just getting all sorts of offended, but no, I don't. Without getting too far into the weeds, I can see the thought that it might be a toe in the water, but I think for them it's more about the power and the control. And look, a 30-something-year-old woman who happens to be 3'10", you know, you're kind of like, I don't know. That's a different scenario. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know.
Let's say maybe you think you might be gay, but you're not for sure if you are gay. So maybe you want to go to a WNBA game or something like that. It's just your foot in the water. I just think this is.
I was just thinking of that joke. It's like, suck one dick, you're a dick sucker forever.
So it's like, hey, maybe I have these thoughts. Let's explore them, but I don't want to, let's just put the toe in the water.
God.
But anyway, so all right. So my thought process when I heard of this thing was, I thought that was very enlightening. And I basically agree with the article about how you're fishing in a small pond, so you suffer failure, etc. But I was thinking now how. And I wasn't offended by this because I was of the 14%. But I imagine a short guy would say, okay, dude, you're going to do this, ladies. You're going to do this, ladies, with the height filter. How about if we do a weight filter, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
And it would be very offensive. And now, for me, I see the point, but I kind of disagree a little bit because you can wear weight so much differently. Like, I mean, to put a flat out number on it, it's because then you got to factor in height, you got to factor in curves.
Yep.
And even girls that are bustier, are going to have got hips and curves.
Yep. Yep.
You know
Yep.
that you can't just go by a straight
You're
weight
wearing the
number.
weight differently, precisely.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. So, but I just found that whole thing very interesting and insightful, and my 10-year-old son didn't. So this is good that I am able to have
No,
honest human feedback. So
no, it is interesting.
yeah,
Hang on. I'm Googling something just out of curiosity. So, to your point about wearing weight differently, what would you say that, okay, Marilyn Monroe was 5 foot 5.5 inches. Okay.
okay.
What would you say that she was weighing around the time that she made Some Like It Hot?
Okay. So again, I think that body type is way hotter than, like, to me. I'll answer your question. I'm getting.
Oh,
there,
I
but,
completely agree. A woman that ate
yeah,
a sandwich
to-
is much better than one that needs a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to me personally, I think about the most disgusting body type a girl could have, not to offend anybody, is like a very muscular. Like, to me, that might be a foot in the door of gay. Like, if you want to get like a really muscular looking girl,
Oh my God.
and it's like, dude, like, just, you know, like, and women, again, like, it's good that you're in shape or whatever, but like, if you want to repulse men, it's a lot easier to do that than putting all this work at the gym. You could just like talk about your day or whatever.
Oh
That's
my
gonna
God.
repulse. But anyway, no. To your point, like, yeah, me personally, I like curves. I like that body type, but even a step further than that, I even thought Marilyn Monroe was too skinny, and I would guess her weight to be about 145.
140.
Close?
140.
Okay.
She was
Now, to
140
me,
when
of
she
that,
made Some Like It Hot, with measurements
yeah,
of 35, 22, 35.
okay, yeah. So to me, of that era, I generally went for more of like the Jane Mansfield. I would like more curves.
All right, let's just
Even an animal.
let's just Jane Mansfield, and we'll go weight. So okay, all right. So she was a 36, 26, 36 at 5'5", and during the filming of The Misfits, she was 140. But according to Google,
again,
she mostly hovered in the 120 range. But
again, that's like you can't like, because there's so many different factors, you can't just
precisely
wait.
And she was only a half an inch shorter than Marilyn, but and measurements were pretty close, but still. Yep.
Yeah, and to me, my, like, I mean, you're really not allowed to have crushes when you're married, I guess. But before I was married, fucking Christina Hendricks, man. Oh my God, on Mad Men.
Yeah.
Forget about it. I don't care what fucking weight she was. That was, I mean, and I think they purposely cast her because that was more representative of the body type of that time.
Okay.
And to me, that was much more attractive than, like skinny minis. And nothing against being skinny or whatever.
Google cannot give me exact weight or whatever on her. It says that.
Well, luckily, I have these weights memorized.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, but yeah, like, yeah, and not to sound like a shallow asshole, but like the weight would not be a deciding factor for me.
Yeah.
Nor would height or anything like that. So.
No, I get it.
But it's interesting that is, and I'm not even disagreeing with women in the sense that I get it that you want a taller guy. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's kind of, when you get into that superficialness, it's kind of, it's dangerous waters there, because
it is.
But,
well,
long story short, I found the article to be very interesting.
I think it's one of the, yes, there's a lot of pickiness going on, and I do think that men, and maybe this is a broad generalization, I'm not saying that men aren't picky, but I do think we're significantly less picky than women. But some could argue that women, like you said, don't settle for something you're not looking for. But fuck, when what you're looking for is 3% of the total population of the United States, you know, that's a small ass pool you're playing in right there. So
and something that you is interesting. The article didn't mention this, but I forget where I read this, but a recent poll of women of all different types, they said, "What is the number one quality you like in a man?" Do you know what they all said?
let me guess, sense
The
of
majority,
humor.
it's just a sense of humor. Yeah,
Dude,
so
nearly every fucking profile you see, you know, something like, you know, make me laugh if you're funny, blah blah blah. Like they all fucking say it.
Yeah, okay. Until like a Ralphie May comes, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. I
That
mean,
that funny really goes.
well, this goes
so
back
far.
to something I was talking. I've gone on this rant before too. So I've learned a lot of things in this process, and there's what is it? Sapiosexual. These are the people that they're not attracted to you physically; they're attracted to your intelligence. And
What?
so my contention is, let's say I have one of the highest IQs on the planet, but I show up to the date at 600 pounds wearing a Star Wars T-shirt
Exactly.
that's 3
Yeah.
sizes too small. I haven't bathed in 2 weeks. I haven't had my hair cut in forever, and you know I'm wearing swim trunks and Crocs because those are the only clothes I have that fit me, you know, below the waist. I mean, are you going to even pay attention to my brain, or 'cause,
No,
I mean, let's be real. Looks always have some influence in the situation.
Yes.
There's no way
100%.
that you can be a person that's like, I don't care about physical. That's bullshit. You're gonna care to some degree.
Yeah. To get to the point to make them laugh, you can't be repulsed by them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a show. Oh, by the way, I am also on my second cigar. You had talked about this earlier, so it inspired me. So I dug through the humidor. Got a midnight twist.
I am smoking a midnight twist. I am smoking
Oh,
a
look at
Romeo.
that.
We're doubling up. So yes, so the second cigar of the show
so
is the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua Midnight Twist Toro.
There you go. Yeah,
Damn, look at that.
Simpatico.
All right,
Yeah.
there. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's not mentioned in this thing is compatibility like that. So we probably would have just matched up if you were over 6 feet tall.
That would. I am 1 inch shy.
So there's a show, and of course I can't think of the name of it, but it was kind of they went to I want to say it was called it's a reality dating show. It's called the theory is that they talk and they make these connections and they propose marriage, but they don't know what they look like until they
Yes.
get to that.
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm familiar with it.
So
yeah.
I had an interest. So they have an interesting concept, right?
Yeah.
And I think I watched like the first season or two. But the thing of it is, if you watch that show, they're all attractive. Like every last one of them.
Oh yeah.
Like the ugliest one is like a 6 or a 7. So like no, if you want to really test this theory out, you throw some everyday looking people.
You gotta put some uggos in there for the
and they don't even have to be ugly. They don't have to be ugly, just like average or below average. You can't tell me Love is Blind when they're all like fucking 7 and 8s.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah,
to really test that connection and see if they really pull through and propose. Yeah, throw some normal looking people.
Okay.
In there, some everyday looking people in there. But that's a concept for a show.
Well,
speaking of concept for a shows,
and speaking of television shows,
that's what I was getting. I was trying to get at that. Yeah.
You got it. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right, so we're talking TV shows now. I actually have some stuff to talk about.
Yes, and a little behind the scenes, we did a little show prep here. I actually gave you some homework for this, so we would have something to talk about.
You did. And I guess we could
You want
start.
to start there?
We could start there.
Yeah,
Go
ahead.
Yeah. So you assigned me to watch Alto Nights on HBO.
Yes.
It's the newest movie.
Correct.
It's got Robert De Niro and a handful of other people. Some Sopranos alumni in that movie.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. Yeah.
You had the what is it? The FBI agent who would come and talk to Tony.
Yeah. Hold on now. I'm trying to get the actor's name, but
And then
his
what's it-
character's name in Sopranos. Hold on. His character name in The Sopranos was it Agent Harris? Right?
Agent Harris. Yeah. But
yeah. I can't think of the actor's
yeah,
name.
Artie Bucco's wife, who was just as obnoxious and horrible in this movie as she was in The Sopranos.
See, I always liked her, and her actual name
Yeah.
is Catherine Narducci,
Okay.
and she plays De Niro's wife in a couple different movies over the years.
Okay.
She played his wife in A Bronx Tale, and so she's in this ilk, and also who played the famous mobster that gets whacked. What's his name? Fucking Christ.
What? In Alto Nights?
Yeah, and it's a real life mobster in the barbershop.
Oh, Albert.
Anastasia.
Albert
Anastasia.
Yeah.
That was Jackie Aprile Sr.
Okay. See, now I'll say this: I didn't realize going into this movie that this was a true to life situation.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's just break this. Okay.
Yeah.
So Alto Nights. I gave you this homework because, as anybody knows that listens to the pod, I'm obsessed with Robert De Niro.
You are.
And yeah, I own every one of his movies, and I see every one on opening night. Now, when people say something like, "Oh, I own all of his movies," generally they think, of course
you own a lot of them.
Yeah. Casino. No, I own every one from Greetings through like Flawless to Shark Tale, anything that De Niro's been in, I own.
What are you going to do if they don't put this on DVD?
Well, that's a bridge we'll cross. But
I'm just saying that is a real problem with streaming services, is that they put movies out and things out and they don't release them on physical media, and there's no way of watching it unless you have that service.
But
anyway,
we'll figure that. So
he's gonna sail the pirate seas. Anyway, okay.
And I feel like fucking Rain Man now. Fucking messing up you messed up my baseball cards. So I see every De Niro movie on opening night.
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw Alto Nights when I was in the theaters, and I liked it as just biased as a De Niro fan because De Niro plays both Frank Costello and Vito Genovese. So he plays two characters, and he's like in every scene. So that alone.
Okay. Dude, all right. You have just answered a question for me. So the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm like, fuck, these both look like De Niro. But when you Google, but wait. When you Google Alto Nights cast, or when you Google Alto Nights and you look at the cast on Google, it says, that was Vincent Gigante, Cosmo Jarvis. Okay. All right. They don't say under De Niro who he plays. And I was like, well, why didn't they put Frank Costello there? But like, if you're looking, they have everybody else with their character name, but they don't list the characters that De Niro plays. And so the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, is that Cosmo guy? I'm like, man, that's some good makeup. And I'm like, he even sounds like De Niro. That was going to be my thing, is like, whoever played Vito was like a great De Niro impersonator, but like, it was fucking De Niro. Okay.
It was and it was fucking great. And if you look at any photos of like Vito Genovese or Frank Costello, older, they look exactly like De Niro portrayed them. And so De Niro is like, if you think of how hard of it is as an actor to like play, like have a whole conversation with two separate characters yourself, right? And that was like the majority of the movie. He's in like every scene between these two characters. Now, to kind of divert a little bit,
that kind of makes the restaurant scene when things were really tense and they sat in the booth and basically yelled at each other. That makes that scene even cooler now that I think about that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, so if you go back through De Niro history, the big thing was, we need Al Pacino and De Niro to be together because they were technically in Godfather 2, but they never shared a scene.
Yeah, they never talked. Yeah.
Well, because De Niro's playing young Vito Corleone.
Precisely.
So they're like, okay, well, we need a movie with Al Pacino and De Niro together.
Yeah.
So fast forward, that was the whole buzz about Heat. If you
Yep.
remember when Heat came out.
I love Heat.
Okay.
It's such a good movie.
Well, it is a very good movie.
Yeah.
And did Val Kilmer die this year?
Oh, was it this year or did he die last year?
Yeah. Anyway,
it may have been this
so,
year. Anyway,
if you know anything about like making films or how a film is made, this whole restaurant scene between De Niro and Pacino in what do you call it?
Heat.
Heat was so monumental. But if you know anything about how movies are made, they were never together in that scene. That was spliced. They were never actually acting like, De Niro says this, Pacino says this. This was all.
They never played off each other.
They never played off each other. It was just
gotcha.
spliced.
Yeah.
So the actual first movie, technically speaking, where they were actually playing, off each other was it Righteous Kill? Where they were both in it together. Anyway.
I don't know. This
Anyway,
is your wheelhouse.
Yeah. I want to say Righteous Kill, but anyway, so back to Alto Nights. Yeah. So De Niro is just chewing up the scenery as himself in two different. So I thought that was just fascinating, and to me that made the movie.
It did.
Now the movie itself was a little slow going,
A little bit,
and it kind of reminded me of if you took The Irishman meets this other De Niro movie he did years ago, where it's chronicalizing the life of a mobster. It's called Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah.
So it's like if those two movies met and had a baby, it would be Alto Nights. Now,
The one
thing
thing
about Alto Nights.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was going to say the only thing that I would say, Alto Nights was only like 2 hours, and I think that helped it.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 2 hours and 3 minutes, and I think that kind of helped it because
it felt longer.
It did, and what I'm saying though is I think if it would have been longer, it would have really felt longer. So, yeah.
So Nicholas Pileggi, he wrote a book called Wise Guy, and they turned that into Goodfellas.
Okay.
And then he wrote a book, I forget what the book is called, for Casino, and they turned that into a movie.
Yeah.
Well, he wrote this book for the Alto Nights, and they turned it into a movie. Now, the difference between these three movies is Casino and Goodfellas all had Scorsese, right? The director for this movie was Barry Levinson, which he's a very good director, but he doesn't do mob movies that well.
Yeah.
So like he's more known for like The Natural or Rain Man, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's done. So he's a good director, but I just didn't feel like it almost didn't feel like a mob movie. Does that make sense? If you're used to like a Scorsese type of mob movie,
kind of. There were parts that I think he definitely hit. Like you referenced the Anastasia hit in the barbershop.
Yes.
Dude, I mean the tension going into that, like when he's walking in there, I'm just like he's dead. Like he's not getting out of this. And the minute they put that towel over his face, I'm like, oh yeah, that's that.
Well, if you know anything about mob history, you know that he gets whacked out in a barber shop. So I knew he was gonna get whacked, but even knowing that, it was still like it was still tense. So they did that very well. But as a whole, I thought it was a little slow and drawn out, and not as action packed. Especially that, we should probably have said spoiler alert a long time ago, but the whole climactic scene was kind of a dud.
At the farm?
At the farm,
yeah. Dude, and that's a big deal in mob history when that went down.
Yeah,
exactly. That was a really big deal when that happened. So, no, you're right. That kind of played out a little soft, but
so it doesn't have the feel of a mob movie because I think it doesn't have that Scorsese element, but to your point, it probably would have been a lot longer if it was a Scorsese film, and it didn't feel like that movie needed length. But overall, I would give it a 6 out of 10, just based on De Niro's acting, I would say.
Oh, I think 6 is fair. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. I mean, I'll admit, I looked at the runtime before I started it because I started it fairly late last night. And I was like, am I going to finish this tonight, or am I going to like have to try and scramble to finish this tomorrow? And when I saw it was only 2 hours, I was like, all right, fine, I'll go ahead and commit. and that was kind of the deciding factor for me. And so knowing that it was only 2 hours, I was watching it. I'll admit it started off with a bang. There were some parts when they were kind of giving the backstory after the beginning scene, leading up to what was happening in quote unquote current day, that I was kind of like, okay, this is a little slow. Once they got to like the current day stuff and you started getting into the politics of the mob and kind of like what was going on with that, I thought that was really, really cool. And and then from there, yes, I will agree that the climax at the farm was a little understated. I think that could have been a little bit bigger of a deal. Like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I mean, and again, spoiler alert, but like, you have all these fucking mobsters. There's only a couple of cops at the scene initially. Why didn't they just blow past the cops and start running? You know what I mean? Like, some of them were in cars. Now, granted, there were a lot of cars stuck in mud, but, well, sucks to be those guys. But the ones that weren't, why were they, like, complying and stopping and pulling over and everything? There weren't that many cops there yet. They could have easily, like, just bum rushed the dude and left.
It should have been like that season finale of, I forget what season it was, of Sopranos, where Tony's, like, running.
John Sacramone's house. When the feds, descend on that. Yeah.
That's what I felt I could have used. But again, when you're dealing with like historical elements, I guess
you do what you do.
But yeah, so I thought it was dry. The parts that you felt interesting, I felt were dry. So
really?
It's good that you kind of like the stuff that I didn't.
Yeah.
So maybe I would appeal more to people. But I was just really fascinated by De Niro playing these two characters who are so personality-wise are so different.
The scene when Albert was confronting the other bosses in the billiards room of that mansion about like what they're gonna do, dude, that was great.
That was
I mean, that was really good. So I mean, that's the thing. There are nuggets of good in that movie to where I would give it more of like a 7. I wouldn't go a 6. 6 feels a little low. I'd give it a 7. But
it might be one of those movies that, like, the first time I watched The Irishman, I was not that impressed.
Yeah,
probably mostly because they had been working on it for so long. It was such a build up. But when I rewatched it, it was a little better. So maybe if I watched it, I've already seen it twice, so maybe like a third time it'll be higher. But I think it's a 6, 7. That seems. I would let's put it this way, as I did it with you, I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah. So, okay. No, I thought it was a good movie. So, okay. So that's Alto Nights.
You did your. I had 2 homework assignments for you, and you achieved both. Look at that.
There you go. I mean.
And you were probably proud that you did both.
I am.
Both enjoyable experiences for you.
I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. So I'll just say this: I did finish King of the Hill, and I mean, I'm ready for the new stuff. I'm looking forward to the new stuff. I think the new stuff comes out in August, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Arlen looks like 15 years from when I last saw it. So that'll be fun. But everybody, if you've seen King of the Hill, you know what King of the Hill is. I did finish the Pee Wee Herman documentary, and I know that you and I talked about this, and you weren't into it.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't for you, and I get that.
No, you're confusing guests. That wasn't me.
Oh well, yeah. So,
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, wait. Yeah, I thought you said that you started watching.
That was Jerry Pulaski that I talked about that.
Oh shit! All right, never mind. All right, well, all right, never mind. So I did watch the Pee Wee Herman documentary, and look, I thought it was a fascinating look at a guy who was doing this documentary knowing full well he was dying, and he didn't.
The concept was very. Yes,
he did not share that with the documentary makers, at least not until like the very, very end. I find it fascinating that he like kind of got angry at him because he wanted more control over it, and they were like saying like, no, dude, you're the subject of the documentary, you don't get to have control over it and all that. And that seems to be kind of like a theme throughout his life, because he would want control over the projects he was doing, and sometimes it was like to his detriment. Like when he filmed Big Top Pee-wee, there was the whole, I think did the movie theater thing happen at that point? I think the movie theater thing had happened at that point.
Well, he gained control in the movie theater. In the movie theater, he had complete control.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking that scandal had already happened, maybe. But anyway, the bottom line is, he filmed the longest kiss in like film history. It was like stupid long. Like he and his like leading lady, like they were kissing for like 3 minutes or something like that straight. It was just
that's because he kept throwing up.
But he wanted desperately to keep that in, and the film company was like, you have to trim this down. And he's to the day that they were interviewing him about it, he was pissed off and bitter that they made him trim it down a little bit, But yeah, it was a fascinating look at the guy, and I didn't remember the whole bit when I knew that the principal from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I can't remember that actor's name, I knew he got in trouble for child porn. I didn't remember that Paul Rubens got wrapped up in that too, and basically had to like he pled to obscenity. What happened was they found old old-timey homosexual erotica in his house, and they tried to like pin that, saying that was child porn. And he's like, look, I'll cop to obscenity, but I'm not gonna like, it's not child porn in it, and I'm not gonna cop to that and whatever. And it's just fascinating. But I didn't know he was like such good friends with Phil Hartman until Phil Hartman went off to SNL, and then they basically like stopped talking. There's I never made ties.
It that far in the documentary.
Yeah, and like apparently like when the child porn thing came out, he like went and crashed with David Arquette and Courtney Cox. Like he stayed at their house, and they were like super good friends of his, and just all this shit. And I'm like, this is so interesting. I didn't know, but anyway, it was an interesting documentary if anybody cares about Pee Wee Herman. So
we're definitely giving some plug and love to HBO Max. That's for sure.
No shit. Now I do have one from Hulu that I watched, and this is where the wrestling comes into play. I watched the episode of Dark Side of the Ring about Sensational Sherry. Do you remember her? She was Macho Man's like after Miss Elizabeth, she was Macho Man's like manager lady and everything. What I didn't realize, because I had come into wrestling as a kid around that time, and like I knew her as Macho Man's manager. I had no idea she had this like storied career as a female wrestler. And she took it really serious, to the point that like the guys in the locker room all respected her as a wrestler and all kinds of shit like that. So she was definitely like ahead of her time in that regard. But the biggest thing is like just how fucking sad the story is. But of course it's Dark Side of the Ring, so of course it's got to be tragic. But
dark, if you will. Yeah.
Dude, she like had a kid and like was married and had a kid. And like 3 months after she had her kid, she like straight up abandoned her family to go pursue her wrestling career. And what's fucked up is like her son is like on this show, and he's dying of something. I don't know what he's got, but he's all messed up. And he's talking how great she is and everything like that, and how like this is how legends are made, and she had to go and do this and blah 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 and all that. And I'm just like, what the hell kind of brainwashing is going on there? But like I don't know, but there's a lot of tragedy to that story. And then basically she, at what, like 48, 49 years old, like died of like a multiple drug overdose. And I mean, she was all sorts of drugged up, at that point, but she'd also like needed painkillers and all kinds of shit for all the bumps and shit that she took. So I don't know. It was interesting because I never really knew her story. I always just knew her as, Macho Man's, kind of creepy manager lady with the weird makeup. But like, turns out she was a lot more than that. So, Yeah.
I wonder, I would like to know the backstory of Paul Bearer, the Undertaker's guy. I wonder.
Yeah, I don't
'Cause
know
I've
if
never
he's
seen him
gonna.
out of character or anything.
I don't
I
know if
just
he's
want
gonna
his
get a
background.
dark side of the ring because I've heard enough times like Undertaker talk about him, when he's actually like himself, Mark, whatever the hell his name is, and whatnot, not like in character. That I guess Paul Bearer must have been like a really just like funny, good dude, and it seemed like a lot of people liked him. So I don't know if he's gonna be a dark side of the ring
Yeah.
or what, but like.
I've never seen him out of character, so I just don't know what led him to that character. I guess is what.
I mean,
that show
probably
doesn't get enough love.
Probably money, quite frankly. I mean, because I mean, shit, man, he probably made a shit ton of it after he partnered up with the Undertaker and started doing that whole bit. But,
I'm sure.
No, you're right. And actually, that was something that came up in the Sensational Sherry thing. Like, they were saying that like Vince McMahon at one point, like, he wanted to get rid of the ladies wrestling, but he still had Sherry on the payroll, and she was too good to let go. So that's when he approached her about being a manager for like some of the top talent, because apparently as women's champ, she made like X, but like as the manager of one of the like top male performers, she was making like X times 100. I mean, it was insane, And so just by standing there and just kind of hanging out and looking good on the side of the ring, she was making exponentially more money than she was actually getting in the ring and fighting. Which,
that show is very. It doesn't get enough credit. That whole dark side of the ring. I mean, those are even if you're not a wrestling fan, just if you just like human drama.
And I've learned a lot about wrestlers that I didn't know anything about. I mean. Because there's 5 seasons of it on Hulu right now, and there's stories about characters and people that like I have no idea who the hell they are. But my God, that industry is just so like full of like fucked up stories.
Yeah, I think it's always been that way. Like
probably
all the characters were, even in the smaller circuits. Did you ever watch the Mickey Rourke movie, The Wrestler?
Yes, it's super good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Yeah. Speaking of wrestling, for anybody in the Southern Illinois area or maybe Kentucky, Paducah, wherever the hell you're interested, Friday, the day this comes out, at 7 p.m. and Saturday, June 14th at 7 p.m., Metropolis Pro Wrestling will be having an event as part of the annual Superman Day Festival, and it will feature former guest of the show, Spotlight Scotty Brooks. So for anybody who wants to go see, a cigar guy go wrestle in Metropolis, Illinois, you can go check out Spotlight Scotty Brooks in Metropolis this weekend. So
maybe he'll have a dark side of the ring.
Oh, boy. Maybe. I mean, he's a nice enough guy, but yeah, maybe. We'll see. But anyway,
what was I gonna say? I thought when you started talking about it, I thought you were gonna plug some midget wrestling.
No. I there's no midget wrestling around here that I'm aware of. Just trust me, if it were coming here, I'd be going to it.
Well, PulpitFest 2026 is going to be in Pigeon Forge.
Do you have
Tennessee.
Any idea how much it costs to get? Garofalo spent some coin on the New England Expo, because let me tell you,
they're not cheap. Yeah.
They're not cheap to get. And now, granted, it's a great show, but you either are paying upwards of $10,000 to get them, or you're guaranteeing, or they're getting a percentage of the box office ticket sales. And the thing is, there's like a guarantee in that to where like they have to make so much off ticket sales in order to get that. So I mean, shit, man, it is not a cheap thing to get those guys to an event.
No.
So
yeah, they just because they're little, or their pay is not. Full size pay.
Full size pay for full size work.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they're taking bumps. So,
well, arguably more based on
arguably.
gravity and all that.
I mean, the ring is sized down to their size, so it's not like we're putting them in a full-size ring or anything.
Maybe that's for the step they're missing.
I think so. I think that would emphasize the midget of the midget wrestling by putting them in a full-size ring. Suddenly you're like, wow, that person's really tiny in that ring. Now, granted, it's going to take them 8 years to do a back and forth on the ropes, but nonetheless, it's.
And also, they need to incorporate that sound effect that do when midgets hit something, that like little squeak.
Oh, the little like dink, yeah. Or when you have like the what is it, the toy like rubber hammer, and you squeak, and it like like a dog toy, a little squeaky toy, yeah.
That's what they're missing out.
Oh my God. Well, that's it. That's it.
If I would be in the Stitch, I would be Stitches laughing if that would never get old. That would just get funny throughout the night.
I'm not gonna tell you that you wouldn't be, or that I'm not gonna guarantee you that you would be, but you're probably gonna be laughing pretty hard just in general if you go at it now without the little sound effect. I'm just saying. It's
especially if alcohol's a factor.
I mean, everywhere that I've seen them, alcohol's been there. So yeah, no, trust me, it's a good show. You'd like it. Anyway, so that's it for my list. What else have you got other than Alto Nights?
Honestly, I've been so busy lately that that's about it as far as shit I've been watching. Yeah.
Okay then. Well, there we go.
It was a pretty heavy segment.
That was good. I will say there was a podcast that you said something earlier, and it got me thinking like, oh fuck, I just listened to a podcast and that played into it, and now, A, I can't remember what you said, and B, I can't remember the name of the podcast. So,
is it the one I recommended?
No.
That you subscribe to?
No. Shit. I don't know. I talked about it on the show at one point. Just a little bit back. Damn it. What was that? I don't know. Whatever. It'll come to me at some point, and I'll let you know. But, yeah. So, okay. Well, now, let's go ahead and do this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars and give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars can't clip our wings. Alrighty, so in the Blackbird segment now, we have the story of Dale Schroeder. Dale Schroeder was a humble carpenter from Iowa who lived a simple life. He worked for the same company for over 67 years, never married, and owned only 2 pairs of jeans, one for work and one for church. Most people never suspected he was anything other than a quiet blue-collar worker. But Dale had a dream. And his dream was to help others get an education that he himself had never had the opportunity to receive. When he passed away in 2005, his lawyer revealed a stunning secret. Dale had saved nearly $3 million over his lifetime, and he left every cent of it to create a scholarship fund for students who couldn't afford college. There was only one catch. The recipients had to be hardworking, from Iowa, and come from humble backgrounds, just like Dale himself. Over the following years, Dale's gift paid the college tuition for 33 students. Many of them went on to become doctors, teachers, therapists, and engineers. They call themselves Dale's Kids and gather to honor him regularly. Dale didn't want fame or recognition. He just wanted to give young people a shot at something better. His quiet act of generosity rippled through dozens of lives and likely hundreds more through the work his scholarship recipients now do. So be like Dale Schroeder and Blackbird Cigars and don't let anybody clip your wings. So, there you go.
It was kind of like he had an own filter himself,
Yeah.
You gotta meet these criteria, but yeah, that's in my experience too, like the rich people that have money, you would never guess that they have money. Just outward appearance,
Yeah.
Generally, the more within reason, the more like flashy you dress, it seems like the less money you have.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that goes. I mean, once you get to like the rappers and athletes and stuff,
Well,
that theory goes out the window. But
I mean, what was I had heard something one time talking about billionaires and millionaires, and they basically said like, millionaires, not obviously all of them, but a decent percentage apparently. You can tell they're millionaires because they like to show off a little bit. But once you get to the $1 billion stage, that's when everything is super understated and chill and, whatever, because you don't want to like draw attention to, your wealth and everything like that. You're just living your life. So I don't know, but
yeah, just like in a bar situation, the boisterous, I can beat any guy or try to get in the fights. These like are the ones that can't fight. It's the chill dudes that
sitting there quiet. Those are the ones that can kick your ass. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So, well, you alluded to it. So did I do it on Tuesday's show? I can't remember if I did the cigars I smoked this week on Tuesday's show or not. Probably not, because I didn't smoke really much anything leading into that episode because I had my son over the weekend. So no, we can do that now. So we can be I'll drop this sound clip in when I edit this.
Guess what, motherfucker?
All right, so it's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. And are you prepared for that? You ready?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay.
So as I alluded to earlier, I also got the legacy in each of the wrappers, and I smoked the first of the ones I've had the other night, which is the Maduro. And when I ordered them, all the sizes available they had were Churchills. Which
Okay.
It's fine. I don't. Churchills are fine, and Perdomo especially makes a good Churchill.
He does.
So I did the Maduro, and that is an enjoyable smoke. That wrapper really is something special. That what was it, the shade grown Nicaraguan? They were using, and that definitely tastes like its own thing. It's very unique tasting wrapper.
Is it reminiscent of other cigars of his, or is it like totally different from other stuff that he does?
Like
if you were going to put a 10th and maybe a 30th and a legacy together, and they were all unbanded, and you had to blind smoke them, could you tell? Oh shit, this is way different than those two.
For sure, and like it's one of those things. Had I smoked it blind, I probably don't think I would have picked Perdomo.
Really?
But knowing that it's Perdomo, you can see, okay, I taste this stronger Nicaraguan thing, but that wrapper just is the highlight, and that really.
Okay.
We were talking about Lanceros earlier. That would be a good one to smoke, which I don't believe Perdomo offers that.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Lancero.
That. Yeah. No.
But it's just a phenomenal wrapper, very unique tasting. I honestly can't compare it to anything on the market. The closest thing I could think of is a cigar that I personally love, the Rocky Patel Sun-Grown Maduro.
Okay.
The smoking experience is totally different, but just the nuance of the wrapper is similar. The legacy is a whole nother degree level, but if you let's just put it that way, if you like the Sun-Grown Maduro, you'll love the legacy.
Okay.
And I've only smoked the Maduro so far, and it's actually a pretty. The wrapper's really strong, but overall, for a Maduro, it's actually pretty mellow.
Okay.
It's more of a sweet, but you'll definitely like them. I haven't smoked the other two, but so far I would go as far as to say that is my cigar of the year so far, and I think it'll probably be on a lot of people's cigar of the year, the legacy this year.
Okay. I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. It should. I know it's shipped, so Lord knows how long the post office is going to bounce it around everywhere, but you know,
What
we'll see.
what size did you order?
The Epicure, the Toro size.
Okay.
Yeah, they had all the sizes available when I went and looked. So, yeah, so I got that. But, well, my first one is the one that I actually had on, I believe, the last show, and that was the Aladino Fumanoche. It had been a minute since I smoked that thing, and that was good. I enjoyed that.
It's a good cigar, yeah.
Yeah,
a good
it's
cigar.
one of those ones that, like I said, I don't smoke it regularly, and so that was a nice little treat to go back to that and give that a shot. And the fact that I believe it was that one that on the cold draw molasses cookies were like the immediate cold draw flavor. I mean, it's always
I'll have to keep that in the back of my mind.
oh, dude, it's always so much fun when you have a cigar and like the flavor note hits and you immediately know what it is. It doesn't happen often. A lot of times I have to like kind of search to figure out like what is that? What am I getting? You know, that sort of thing. So when it hits and I get that, I'm just like, holy shit, I love that so much when it just like is immediate. So yeah, the Fumanoche would be my first one.
All right, number 2 for me was a Crux. I'm trying to think the name of it here. Oh gosh, Bull and Beam, I want to say it's called, or something like that. Does that sound right?
Is it the blue one?
Yeah, the blue wrapper.
It's the Bull and Bear.
Bull and Bear. Okay, Bull and Bear. Yeah.
Yep.
Good smoke. Honestly, you can't go wrong with Crux. I've never had a bad Crux. They're a little hard to find.
Yeah.
I can only think of a couple places offhand locally that have them. But yeah, I've never been disappointed with Crux cigar. Really, especially for the price point. Really,
yeah,
underappreciated cigar.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because my next one actually was also the Crux Bull and Bear. Now I had it. I had it in a Gordo. I had it in a Gordo size.
Okay.
It was a sample that I had received at PCA, and I'm not. I've gotten to the point that I'm not the biggest fan of the 6x60s, but for whatever reason, so the tip of this thing, I don't know if it normally is like this or if something, or if maybe I don't know what happened, but it kind of was like a stumpy torpedo. Like it was just a little like tapered like a torpedo. It wasn't like a just normal rounded off cap on the end of it. And so I was able to cut it in such a way that I had a, smaller mouth, the mouthfeel was more what I wanted. And, dude, I smoked that thing through, I'd say 3/4 of Alto Nights last night. And, holy shit, it was great. I mean, it smoked wonderfully. Like you said, Crux, I've smoked some on the show. They've got a few new things coming out that I'm watching for and waiting for. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. Normally I smoke the Crux, Epicure Habano, the yellow, kind of canary yellow, labeled one.
That's a good one.
But, this blue one, like I said, I was giving this a PCA and I was like, holy shit. Like it's one that I've had in the travel humidor just as one to like smoke in the car at some point and everything. And last night I was sitting down and I was watching that movie and I'm like, fuck it, I'll smoke this. Why not? And boy, it hit so well that in my search today for this Trinidad, I found it again at Captain Z's and bought one because I had such a good experience with it last night. So now I have another one on deck for me to smoke again.
Yeah, Crux are one of those cigars that wherever I do find them, I try to stock up a little bit because I know I'm not going to be disappointed, and that, like I said, they're kind of hard to find. So
I've been playing footsie with them to be a sponsor of the show for a while now. I think they need to just nut up and do it.
Well, honestly, like I think the problem with Crux is not enough people know about it
which is exactly what the point of
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
yeah.
You need to expose more people to it because, I mean, once you try it, you'll like it. It's just
exactly
get yourself familiar with that.
Well, I mean, well, I'll tell you something off air. Remind me off air that I'll tell you something. But like, they're good cigars. So, anyway, so that was my second one. So what's your last one?
My final one was the Circle of Life by West Tampa.
Okay.
And I have smoked. I'm trying to think here, going down their portfolio. I believe I have smoked every West Tampa one except for what's that? Boulevard.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't tried that one.
Belucci. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I haven't tried their newest like $30 one or whatever it is.
Well, and there's the Devil Crab. Have you had the?
Oh yeah, that one too.
Yeah,
No,
that one too.
I haven't tried that
Shit,
one
I
yet.
should have tried to order. I just realized I should have looked for those when I was placing my 2 guys order.
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't do
Yeah,
that. All right, well,
that's a very uniquely sized cigar. That one.
it is.
But yeah,
yeah.
the Addict series, or no, sorry, the Circle of Life, really good, really complex. I was surprised how aromatic it is.
Yeah.
It was very, probably I would say their most aromatic cigar.
Okay.
Very, very good. I still probably lean towards the Addict series being my favorite. And I don't know what I think there was. I'm trying to remember this. Don't quote me on this, but I believe there was some controversy about the Addict series because I think they were saying it was basically the red before it was the red.
That's what Rick said. He said it on this show. Rick Rodriguez said on this show that the original Addict series, the first Addict series that came out, was the red.
Okay, so obviously, I mean, at the end of the day, he's the man. He would know, right?
You would think, but there's a lot of people that argue
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now. I smoked a lot of red and I smoked a lot of Addict series. So maybe the blend's the same.
Yeah.
But they got to be using different primings or something because to me, the Addict series is the best that they do. And I think it's like you can see the similarities between the red, but I like it. It's much better than the red, in my opinion.
Interesting.
So I don't know if they're using, like I said, maybe choicer leaf, higher primings or something, but I mean, would you like to weigh in? I mean,
I'll be honest. I never smoked an Addict series. I've smoked.
Oh, okay.
I've smoked the black, the white, the red. I've smoked the Circle of Life, and I have smoked the Belucci Boulevard, which that was only available in a 6x60. But no, the Addict series kind of came and went, and I never I missed that one. And so, no, I've never smoked an Addict series. I would be interested if there are any places out there that still have some of the original.
They are hard to find.
Yeah, if they have any original Addict series, I think it would be really interesting to do a blind smoke. Put a red and an Addict series down blind, not know which one's which, smoke them, and see if you can say, oh, this one's different than this one or whatever. So,
or even not blind, just have a pod where you smoke them both.
I mean,
side by side and compare it. But
I think it'd be interesting. Well, yeah, either which way.
At the end of the day, I yield to Rick Rodriguez, but to me,
it's what he says. But man, there's a lot of people that argue it. I'll say that. So
I know one comes to mind who's probably smoked a lot more of both of those than I have.
Yeah.
Ed Sullivan. So
But on the flip side, though, maybe this is a situation where the brand and the band, makes a difference. Maybe it's one of the, I don't know.
Maybe.
So.
And also the black. I like the black a lot too. So for me, it's definitely Addict series.
The black is probably my favorite of his core line.
Circle of Life.
When you get into the black, white, and red, I think the black is still my favorite of the core line.
That very, very uniquely earthy. You can almost taste that like volcanic soil.
Yeah.
That it's very, very earthy. I fucking want one now.
Well, I'm down to the final third on my Twiz.
We should probably highlight that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You finish out, and then we'll come back.
All right. So my last one is one that I had rattling around in the humidor, and today I brought it with me on the drive to go search for the Trinidad. Now, I hit some traffic, so I finished it before I got to the first cigar shop, which I guess is good. You don't want to be that guy walking in with a lit cigar, especially if you're just popping in the humidor, buying shit, and leaving. But My last one was an All Saints dedication, and it was in the miter size. So that would be the kind of Gordo stumpy torpedo size. It's like maybe 4.5 inches by like 60 with a torpedo cap on it. And I had gotten those from Mickey Peg quite a while back, and I think I maybe still have like 2 left in there. I found those when I was kind of shifting some cigars from one humidor to another, and I found that, and I was like, this will be a good quick drive smoke, and it was good for that. And I'll say this, the age that I put on that thing, just keeping it in the humidor, it's probably, I don't know when I got that. I know I was in the duplex, so it's been, a couple years at least, 2 or 3 years maybe. Shit, that thing got spicy. I mean, that thing got really spicy over the years. So it picked up in intensity.
Much like Crux, I've never had a bad All Saints. They're all very, and also, of course, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was the only time I've ever bought a box of something that I've never tried before.
Okay.
And I want to say it was like the Habano. I forget what the hell it's called. It was
the
Habano,
Colorado? Yeah.
Colorado, yeah. That was a fantastic cigar.
And I'm just going to say this, and for all, and if he hears it, Mickey, drop me a line. Give me some proof of life, man. I don't know where the fuck you've been.
Yeah, I mean, now that you say it, I haven't heard much from him lately.
No, and he wasn't at PCA, so I was kind of wondering, like, what's going on. But I mean, he's still out there. You can still buy his cigars. I mean, I saw saw him on Two Guys' website when I was buying my cigars the other day. So I mean, they're there. But
yeah.
It's like
last time I
don't
was
know what
in
happened
my
to Mickey
brick and
Pig.
mortar, stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
That's
don't
interesting. Yeah, now you say it, I can't remember the last time I heard anything from him, like on social media or anything.
Yeah. So I don't know. But anyway, well, there we go. Well, I guess this is the point when I tell you that I'm available on Instagram. Wait, no, that's right. We're gonna talk Midnight Twist, right?
Midnight Twist, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I dig this cigar. I really like it.
I dig this cigar too.
So I like I really like the Reserva Real Nicaragua, the blue band, just regular Nicaragua.
And you had turned me on to that, and I smoked a ton of those.
Yep.
I mean, not as many as you, but ever since they came out with the Midnight Twist, I can't remember the last time I bought the regular one. I just always bought the Midnight Twist.
See, I don't see the Midnight Twists around nearly as frequently as I do the regular one, so I continually keep getting the regular one. This is a treat. Now that I know there's at least one store that I know carries this now, so I'm like, all right, that's fine. But I like this.
Every place I buy them locally, they have both, so I always just get the Midnight Twist.
It is slightly different than the regular version, though. It's a little the regular one is very pepper forward. This one, there's plenty of it, but there's other components to it as well.
Yeah. And mellowed out with that Maduro.
That Maduro kind of mellowed it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
you get the salty sweet. And to talk about I guess you'd call it the topic of the show. I mean that would be interesting for pairings too, because I mean you could go based on that peppery stuff. You could pair your Reposado or whatever, or you could pair that Maduro with a coffee or whatever. You could go either way with that one. So.
Or you could put a little Tabasco in your coffee.
Oh, that's a little too adventurous.
Get a peppery coffee going on. Maybe like a little chili powder, kind of like, spice up the coffee.
Chili powder makes a little more sense. Tahini makes a little more sense. Tabasco sounds like
that'd be nasty.
A little fear factor type.
That'd be nasty. But yeah, no. Dude, I dig it. I mean, like like you said, I mean, I have smoked a shit ton of the just regular blue band ones, because I mean that for a while I was buying them by box, and
now you've been keeping track of your stuff.
Yes.
The past year or two.
Last year and then this year.
I'm just curious what your all-time leader would be. Do you think it'd be that, or do you think it would be the Perdomo?
I can guarantee you it's something from Perdomo. I don't know.
So
early on, I would have said the Champagne 100%. Like that one was a clear leader. Well, for the first, I'd say, now that I think about it, I started in July of 18. July of 18. And I'd say throughout 2018, I was hanging in the red band Romeo and Julieta, and there was like a Fuente that I smoked a lot too. It was a really, this right here, right now, I'm once again kind of getting on this. All the Fuente shit looks the same to me. And so I cannot tell you what Fuente it was that I smoked with regularity back when I was smoking Fuente, because it all looks the same. And I've even gone to the Fuente section and tried to say, like, okay, which one is it? Which one is it? And I can't pick it out. I don't know which one it was. And so
it's not my position. And I mean, they do their fucking, obviously they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But like, if there was ever a brand that needed some repackaging, or because they're affiliated with JC Newman, and like just the things that JC Newman's done with their rebranding, repackaging, Fuente's in desperate need of that.
Something to just kind of spice it up a little bit and make it a little easier to know, okay, this is this. Apparently, like the ribbon color on the cigar indicates like what it is, but I don't know.
Honestly,
I don't know
there's
that.
probably like 3 Fuentes I can tell you what they are.
Yeah.
Because like I smoke, I like the Eye of the Shark a lot.
Okay, so there's an Opus,
the
right?
Don Carlos stuff. No, the
is the Eye
called? Well,
isn't the Eye of Shark an Opus? All right,
the Don Carlos Eye.
Oh yeah, there's
the
Eye
of the Shark.
But see, that is a totally different band.
Yeah. It's like all those to your point, all those Fuentes are just like
all the Fuentes look alike, and it's hard for me to to tell what's what. But I smoked a lot of those over that first 6 months or so. But I'd say probably starting in 2019, that's when I encountered the Champagne. And dude, for the longest time, I mean, that was like the cigar of choice. I mean, I was smoking that multiple times a day, every day. I mean, I was putting them down left and right.
You can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong with that.
And I've shifted more to the Habano Sun-Grown. But nonetheless, I mean, I'd say that if a company if I were to look back over all the years and say, like, okay, what have I smoked the most of? Perdomo's going to be, if they're not the top, they're like scratching at the top. But I can't imagine. I can't imagine they wouldn't be top, to be honest.
I would have if you were to make like a Nick Miller action figure and he's got a cigar, I would say that cigar would be either for me would be the Reserva Real Nicaragua or the 10th anniversary Sun-Grown. That seems to be.
Yeah.
Or the Warhawk Rebellious. But,
boy, I wish. I'm still pissy that I couldn't get a freaking sample of that at PCA. I talked to the guy and I was like, man, I really love those. Where can I get those? You can talk to your shop. We still got like 400 boxes in the warehouse. And I'm like thinking, motherfucker, I'm dry begging from you right now.
I mean, you did that at TPE too, so they know.
True.
Yeah, they next time I see him, I'll have to buy you some next time I see him. Of course, now that
I was gonna say, now that you say that, you're not going to see him around, but no. I know they're out there. Because like I said, they told me at PCA flat out they still have 400 boxes in the warehouse, and that if I have a store, I could just tell them to order it for me and whatnot. So, any shop that wants to step up, you've got a box sale right here. So,
I know for sure the regular Warhawks you can find anywhere.
Those, yes,
the rebellious. Yeah, the rebellious.
and those are good, but that rebellious, man, that rebellion, it had so much more to it.
Here's the problem with the regular Warhawk. You're smoking it, and the whole time you're thinking, I wish this was a rebellious.
Yes! At this point, now that I've had the rebellious, it's like, yes, that's what I want. And it's like, you guys, you gave it to me once. You took forever to bring it back. And admittedly, I kind of sat, I didn't have the money at the time. You know, I'm sitting on my hands. And now it's like, okay, now it's hard to find again. I'm like, fuck, you know? Yeah. So, I don't know.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now the socials. I'm available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. And if you're in that, drop us a post about what your pairing is. Like, what do you like to pair with what cigar? I'm on Twitter/X. I'm on Rumble and YouTube if you want to watch this. And I'm also on Spotify video if you're a Spotify user and you want to watch it instead of listen to it. I do need your calls for the Ask the Pulpit episodes. So give the hotline a call, area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. And PulpitFest. PulpitFest tickets, general admission tickets are still available. They're $35. You get $30 of it back as in-store credit at the Ash and Ale, lounge where we're hosting it at. So basically, it's like $5 plus a little taxes and fees to Eventbrite to go. It's August 22nd through the 24th in Palm Coast, Florida. It's half an hour south of St. Augustine, half an hour north of Daytona. It's a super nice area. Lots of really great restaurants and places to visit and things to see and do. It's an easy drive from Jacksonville. If you fly into Jacksonville, it's an hour south, but it's a really easy drive, and you'll pass a Buc-ee's. And then it's also an hour and a half from Orlando, so you can fly into Orlando if you want and, do that. And guess what? You pass another Buc-ee's. So either which way, you can stop and get your beaver nuggets and your brisket sandwich, so you're all set there. And, it's going to be great. We've got Renee Castaneda and Hector from Villiger coming out. Justo Aroa and Trey Mack from Aladino are coming out. It's going to be a great party. We're going to have a ton of fun. And if you missed it last year, you missed a great party, and you probably have some FOMO about that. So why don't you come and join us this year? And if you did go last year, you know what fun it was. So, get in on the fun again and come and join us. You get the goodie bag. Last year's goodie bag was valued at over $200 with everything in it. This year, I mean, we're going for bigger and better. And then also, do remember a portion of your ticket, the proceeds will go to Vincent's Clubhouse, which is a organization that supports autism education and assistance in the Flagler County area. So you're helping out kids with autism while hanging out and having cigars. So, I mean, come on. It's a great thing. You're doing a good thing. You're getting good stuff. You're meeting awesome people. And you get to go to Florida. So, it's kind of a win-win-win all the way around. And if you live in Florida, it's an easy drive. I have lots of Florida listeners. Get in on the fun. Go to Eventbrite, eventbrite.com. Get your ticket there. Or you can go to cigarpulpit.com. It's the first post on the website. And there's a link there that'll take you right to it. I mean, it's super quick, super easy, and we're going to have an awesome time. So, there you go. That's what I've got. And then where can people follow you? Because you mentioned your Instagram earlier.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Mr. Zalesnik. I'm on Facebook, Noah Zalesnik. I try to post in the parishioners group when I think of it. So, you'll find me.
Lots of cigars and snakes.
Lots of cigars and snakes, yes.
There you go. So, well, this has been a fun episode. And look at you going like freaking... You're racking up Trey Mac numbers here, man. We're like,
yeah, I was gonna say, Trey Mac. This is a long episode.
I was gonna say this one went long, so
I knew it would too. That's what when you come in with homework and things you want to talk about.
You're coming in hot. You were prepared, so
it's a 2-cigar podcast.
I know this is a rarity for the pulpit to get 2 cigars out of the deal. I probably owed 2 guys another cut in there, but you know, I didn't do that.
I'll
But
see.
you know,
I gotta find my cutter and just make the noise. I can't find where I put it.
nah, whatever. So yeah, go to twoguyscigars.com. They have great cigars and they're great people. So there you go. There you get the second plug.
And plus, we plugged the strengthometer, so they
we
really
did.
get
You know
their,
what? That's the thing. We did plug the strengthometer, and we used it. We used it properly. So I think
used
that
it properly,
that should be
yes.
counted for something as well. So anyway, well, dude, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure, and thank you for allowing me to get to share with these topics that somebody to actually give feedback on. So.
I mean, I have all kinds of opinions on all kinds of things, so I'm good for that.
It's
So.
like we say, it's like a mobile cigar lounge.
It
This would
is.
be, if I had a local cigar lounge, these would be the topics I would be discussing. You know. So.
Precisely. Well, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick.
This is Noah.
And everybody stay safe and stay smoky. Thanks, everyone.